Welcome to the final test of the 2025-2026 ABB FIA Formula E Championship and Season 12. So we're closer and closer to Sao Paulo. This is test session 6, and this is technically actually out there for session 2 of the women's test, the final one. 14 drivers out there on the circuit this morning. It was quite close as well. The time's getting closer to those of the male counterparts. I'm Joshua Birchall, Sam in the coach box is Josh Turner and Omi. We're Jack Pickering trackside, and we're ready to go for the final time today.
Yeah, how are you?
How was your off season?
You don't really have an off season in Formula E, so all the stuff we
I don't know why that was playing. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. JT, here we go then. Final 3 hours coming up. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and that sounds like the prime OBS rookie ever of having autoplay enabled on a media source.
Yep,
Bustamante, Chadwick, Chambers, Pullin, Calderon, and Shout are all out on track. The 6 cars who are first ahead out on track. We've still got another full 3 hour session, but we've got tons of content to replay to you across this 3 hours, and of course the press conference from around 45 minutes to an hour ago, which someone forgot to press to go live feature.
Not us.
And yeah, someone forgot to press the go live button on the Formula E official press conference stream, but luckily they've uploaded it, so we'll get that edited, and that will close out this 3 hour session.
I don't think there needs to be much editing, to be fair, though, which is an interesting thing, but we'll send them over to JT. They're downloading now. The drivers one is uploading, JT, to our OneDrive, just to let you know. Omi, good afternoon. Welcome back. Ready for some interesting action? You're our Formula One Academy commentator. Many drivers here have raced there.
They really have indeed, and plenty of them also used to race in W Series and all over the place when it comes to the feeder series world as well. So plenty of talented drivers all in this one arena, all looking to try and impress with this Formula E test as well. So it is looking good. A few of these drivers have also just come over from testing that they finished yesterday for F1 Academy. So they've had to sprint over, and they had to come over very, very quickly. But yes, 2 tests in 1 week for some of the F1 Academy talents as well.
Quite the entertaining run around then as well. So all the press conferences are downloading, and then we're going to be uploaded. JT is going to edit them all to come through. This is going to be a very interesting one to go forward. Okay, let's throw it back then to the first day of pre-season testing. Sebastien Buemi had an issue with the car, and he spoke to Jack Giamana.
So, how was your first day? Obviously, it wasn't an ideal start. You weren't on track for the first hour. I don't know if you can explain a little bit more about that, but how was your first day back?
Yeah, it was basically the first day back in the car since London for me. I didn't get any testing in between, so of course missing an hour was not really nice. We had a small issue on the BBW, so we had to change it, and it's a pretty long change. But once it was changed, it was okay. So just a bit behind in terms of setup development and the run plan, but still at the end we were able to do some laps in 350 and 300. We were able to gather some good data, so not too bad considering we missed quite a bit of the session.
Yeah, talk to me about the run plan. Obviously, it's not a evolution in terms of revolution. Sorry, is a better word in terms of the Gen 4 next season. It's Gen 3 Evo. It's just software development. What is the plan? How do you think you guys can get better this week?
Yeah, so basically in the off season we've analyzed a little bit our weaknesses, which is mainly consistency in qualifying laps, not really able to put the lap together, and obviously I'd say that the racecraft was not bad, but the qualifying performance was poor. So we've brought some upgrades on the software, some different things to try to make it easier for me to do a good lap at the limit, and I feel like we will test all those things that we've thought about and worked on since London. We did today already a few things which I think worked well. The correlation with the sim also worked well, so we will continue to go deeper into those upgrades, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll be happy and ready for Sao Paulo.
Yeah, just finally on me, obviously we had a small regulation change with the attack mode, and if you don't run out of time, it's okay. Do you think there'll be like some loopholes there in terms of just running to the end of the race, take it on the final lap, and then all okay?
I think that could be a very bad thing to do, to be honest, to take it at the end, because you'll get the loss of taking it, but you will not get the advantage of using it. And now with the four-wheel drive, it's such a big advantage to actually use it that if you would not be obliged to activate it, it's one thing, but because you have to activate it, you better use it. So for sure, I think people may delay the activation a bit compared to what they did this year, because this year you would have got a penalty if you were not able to use it fully, which is not going to be the case in the future. So it will incentivize people to wait longer to use the second attack. However, you still want to use it because it's a good gain. You can overtake a lot of cars with it.
All right, thank you very much. Cheers.
Sebastien Buemi there as well. An interesting run from him so far in the test. He was quite entertained, and his car's doing quite well out there actually today with Alice Powell. It was fast this morning. Abby Pulling set the first time, 1 minute 30.762. Track temperature 25 degrees Celsius, air temperature 22, 57% humidity, 8 km/h wind. I think Omi as well, that km/h wind is blowing everything around, because you know how weird the circuit is at Valencia. It can be fine in the morning, and then in the afternoon it can just turn you around and hit you out.
Yeah, and that's why it's great to have two different sessions, because of course the drivers get challenged quite differently, and they get to experience two different conditions as well, basically. So it is good to have the morning and the afternoon session and give them the same running that the regular drivers have had in terms of a full day format. It means that a lot of running can be had, and it is great to see these drivers getting the chance, and they'll definitely be utilizing it as well across the entire session that is coming up.
Yep, and this is going to be the first couple of lap times that are starting to come through. Now, we've got Chloe Chambers top 1:27.271. Tatiana Calderon into second place, 1:28.519. Abby Pulling third. Garcia, Chadwick, Bustamante, Juju Noda, Ella Lloyd, Shaw in there, Brewer, Powell, Marty Edgar, and Julkova. Bianca Bustamante, though, Omi, to the top of the times.
Indeed, Bianca Bustamante then finding her way to the top for the moment. Expect the top positions to change quite a bit. But yeah, she's been able to find the time. She's been able to go top of the board by just under 0.5 of a second as well. Bustamante, one of two drivers from this field who've been racing in the GB3 Championship this season. Of course, as has Abby Pulling, who's right now fourth on our timing board.
Looking quicker and quicker. So the other two have downloaded. So JT, the press conferences are going up now, I believe. So be prepared for that. It is apparently quite a lot of video hours, so that's going up now. 26 minutes for the females press conferences as well. So JT's going to be editing those, and we'll get that out for you throughout the next 3 hours. Right now, though, for the next 15 minutes, we're going to go back to Tuesday and the drivers' press conferences and the team's press conferences. We'll be back with you in 15 minutes.
World Championship. We're going to speak to some of our drivers, and then we'll be speaking with our team principals shortly after. We've got Oliver Rowland here from Nissan Formula E team, Antonio Felix da Costa now with Jaguar TCS Racing, and Nick de Vries from Mahindra Racing. Ollie is the champion. I'll start with you. I'm going to pick up from where we left off in London. How was Ibiza?
Yeah, it was good fun.
Any more details you'd like to disclose?
Not really.
Did you take any of the team?
Yeah, I took all the engineers, basically.
And Norman.
Norman came in the end, but Norman was a bit of a letdown, actually.
Why?
Day two, he was already wanting to go back to the hotel at lunchtime.
He couldn't hack it, couldn't hack it. How long did it actually take for the achievements of last season to sink in? Because I'm sure you were on a high for quite a long time.
Yeah, I think after Berlin, obviously, there was a week of kind of letting it settle in. And then obviously the way that we finished the season in London wasn't ideal, so there was part of me that was a a little bit frustrated after the season finished, and I didn't want to finish the year like that. But I think a week or so after, he kind of got over the disappointment of London and then the recognition of what we'd managed to achieve. So, yeah, I would say it was more the week after Berlin where everything kind of settled in, and then it was actually a nice wake-up call in London to kind of be focused and ready for this year.
All of our questions and answers will be translated by our esteemed translator here, just to remind you.
Bien.
Will be translated by our esteemed translator here, just to remind you.
Bien, queremos simplemente dar las bienvenidas a todo el mundo. Ya hemos vuelto para esta 12ª temporada que vamos a estar aquí en el ABA-FIA, Campeonato Mundial ABA-FIA de Fórmula E. Tengo aquí a 3 de los pilotos y a continuación tendremos también a 3 de los jefes de equipo. Voy a empezar con Oliver. Oliver, ¿qué tal te fue? ¿Llevaste a gente? Bueno, me llevé a los ingenieros, también a Norman, pero fue muy aburrido porque ya a la hora de comer, a la hora de mediodía ya quería irse a la habitación. Bien, hablando de la temporada pasada, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo tuvisteis una buena temporada? ¿Cómo te sentiste lo que conseguisteis? Bueno, después de Berlín realmente es cuando nos dimos cuenta lo bien que había ido todo. Desafortunadamente después en Londres pues es ahí donde nos quedamos bastante decepcionados y lo que yo diría que fue justo después de Berlín donde realmente nos dimos cuenta de dónde estábamos.
How different does it feel arriving here now as the defending champion and seeing the number 1 that you've chosen to adopt on your car?
Honestly, not much different. I mean, yeah, the number 1's nice, but I feel like it's business as usual. You know, we have a test program to get through. Like I said, the end of the season wasn't optimal for us, so I think we had a nice wake-up call the last few races, and we've been hard at work to try and understand some of our issues from the end of last year, and I think we've done a pretty good job. So it's just business as usual, trying to get through the test program, trying to understand some stuff, and trying to improve to stay towards the front for the rest of the season.
Bien, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo te sientes defendiendo pues, el campeonato? ¿Cómo se siente viniendo? Dice, bueno, no es una gran diferencia, te digo, ser número 1 es genial, me gusta mucho, pero estamos aquí para hacer la prueba. Y aquí después, en la temporada pasada, pues no acabamos la temporada en una forma óptima, pero creo que fue un aviso para nosotros y ahora vamos en esta prueba a ir probando y viendo cuáles son los temas que tenemos que aprovechar y arreglar durante esta prueba.
Thank you very much, Ollie. We'll move on to you, Antonio. It's been a big change for you. It's good to see you back here in different team colours. And there was a lot of speculation over your future that went on for quite a long time. How happy are you to now be here with Jaguar TCS Racing, and how are you settling into your new surroundings?
You could have just asked me and I would have told you. You didn't have to speculate too much. I'm just kidding. No, it feels good to first of all just to be back in Valencia. It's like first day back at school, and you get that pre-season vibes, and we're getting close to a new season and a new you know, few months of fighting with these guys on track. So looking forward to that. Yeah, it's been an exciting month, you know, since I've joined the team. A lot to learn, a lot of people to meet. And yeah, and then we arrived here in Valencia with a big test item plan, a big program to get through and really understand what works in what track and what track conditions. So we're going to be trying things that work, trying things that don't work, but it's mainly just to kind of open my toolbox here and just get myself and the team ready for the season. You know, we're getting at the end of this Gen 3 era. Everybody's very competitive, everybody's very close together, so a couple of tenths make a huge difference. So it's all in the details, and yeah, I'm playing a little bit of catch up, but it's been a very, very fun challenge so far.
Bien, esta pregunta para ti, Antonio. Bueno, vemos que esta temporada es nueva para ti en el hecho de que estás con un nuevo equipo. ¿Cuán contento estás el poder estar con Jaguar TCS? La respuesta, pues bien, estar aquí en Valencia realmente es maravilloso. Es como ir el primer día al cole, volver a revivir toda la emoción de una nueva temporada y es muy agradable estar aquí peleando con todos estos. Va a ser un mes muy emocionante y estando aquí estos días pues tenemos mucho que aprender tanto ahora como después. Tenemos un gran programa para el equipo y queremos ver qué es lo que funciona y en qué pistas funciona mejor. mejor. Voy a utilizar todo lo que tengo en mi caja de herramientas para intentar estar preparado y obviamente con los coches de Gen 3 estamos todos muy ajustados y se trata de pequeños detalles que pueden diferenciar entre unos y otros.
You've obviously seen how strong Jaguar TCS Racing have been over the years. You've raced against them. How confident are you that you can come in and compete? Obviously, it's a big change for you. And I know the team are still being eluded by that Drivers' Championship. Is there a chance you'll be in the mix?
Well, hopefully, that's the goal. You know, far from me to start, you know, getting out the book of excuses, but it's going to be a little bit of a tough road just to get on top of everything in the short amount of time that we have. But you know, I'm a very ambitious driver and athlete, and so is this team. It's probably, if not the most, one of the most successful teams in the Formula E history. So the goal is only one, right? We want to win, fight for wins, fight at the top. So that's what we're working towards.
Bien, bien, has visto, pues nada, al llegar a Jaguar TCS, has visto lo fuerte que es este equipo y esto representa un gran cambio para ti, el entrar. Y la respuesta es, bueno, por supuesto que es un cambio, pero yo no quiero dar excusas. Es un camino duro que tenemos por delante, pero yo soy un piloto y un atleta muy ambicioso y quiero estar siempre arriba. Y esto es uno de los equipos con mayor éxito en la historia de Fórmula 1, así que de Fórmula en general. Por lo tanto, vamos a hacer todo lo posible para estar arriba de todo.
Thank you very much, Antonio. I'll move on to you, Nick. Good to see you back here. Enjoyed seeing what you've been up to over the summer, golf, a lot of driving as well. A really strong end to the season last year and actually a very strong season for Mahindra in general. A top 10 finish for you, 4th in the Teams Championship as well. Would you consider now that a baseline for what you want to achieve going forward into season 12?
Yeah, we would certainly like to conquer that as a baseline. Obviously, we can't take anything for granted in this championship. It's extremely competitive, and as both drivers already touched on, it's the end of the Gen 3 era, which naturally kind of clusters everyone closer together. So I think if it's one season wherein you want to be you know, prevailing, then this is going to be probably the hardest one. But we definitely enjoyed momentum at the end of last year, and so far we're feeling good and excited towards the upcoming season. But yeah, we take it a step at a time, and we just continuously want to do better than what we've done. And yeah, we keep that on track.
Bien, Nick, me alegro de verte y sé que este verano pues has estado jugando mucho al golf, has estado conduciendo. Después de la temporada pasada que fue muy potente para vosotros, tú estuviste en los top 10 y el equipo fue cuarto. Esto ha puesto un listón para vosotros, ¿verdad? Y la respuesta es sí, por supuesto, y no queremos tomar nada por descontado. Es una competición extremadamente apretada. Estamos al final de la era de Gen 3 y significa que todos los coches están muy juntos, muy amontonados durante la carrera. Y si hay alguna temporada en la que tenemos que sería bueno prevalecer, es esta. Me siento muy bien, pero vamos a ir paso a paso y vamos a hacer todo lo mejor que podamos.
We know that you and Edo have a great relationship, but also the team at Mahindra do seem very close, and I've heard there's not been much change over the off-season. How important from a driver's perspective is that you continue with the same car as last year, but also the same people around you all searching for the same goals?
Yeah, I think that's actually hugely important to keep the continuity within the team. Obviously, we've come from quite far starting together in season 10, and being able to keep the same group of people together who have gone through that journey so far, yeah, I think is going to be crucial to the start of our upcoming season. So very happy to be continuing working with the same people and yeah, same people in the team, and so far the atmosphere is good.
Bien, sabemos que tú y yo sois bastante buenos amigos y...
We're just going to interrupt that press conference with the red flag that has come out. Alice Powell has stopped on the circuit at turn 4. So the red flag has come out. So I'll tell you what, I mean, we haven't had many stoppages across this week so far. This is the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. And disappointment for Alice Powell as she returns back behind the wheel. as well, and it's not the ideal way for this afternoon session to go. She is stopped out there on the circuit between 4 and 5, and, well, we've got to the red flag then.
Yep, so all cars will come into the pit lane. Marta Garcia was on top on a 124.765 from Tatiana Calderon, 124.934. Juju Noda was in third, 124.939 from Chambers fourth. Djoukova fifth, Lloyd sixth, Bustamante in seventh. Powell was eighth, but stopped on the circuit now. Hang on a minute, we've got the 77 and the 94 circulating on the circuit. They haven't been told about the red flag. So we've got Jess Edgar, who's gone around the circuit again, as has the 94 of Djoukova. So, well, I guess, I mean, this will be a bit of a doo-doo from them because they've gone round again under the red flag.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've continued on and they will make their way to the pit lane, and then I'm sure the recovery will get going of Alice Powell's car as well. So yeah, they've gone on once again, but we are now under the red flag.
Just appears that Powell is stopped by turns 4 and 5 after the yellow flag session has now been red flagged. That's from Katie Fairman, Trackside. Okay, so cars will return to the pit lane. Medical cars heading back out there again, it seems. Although I thought it was already at this first sector, so I don't know why they've rejigged itself. I think the time is having a paddy about themselves. Either way, let's return you to the press conference on Tuesday.
Mahindra pues no ha cambiado mucho, ha mantenido todo bastante similar. ¿Qué se siente ir con el mismo coche y la misma gente y con los mismos objetivos? Respuesta, sí, es importante el estar todos juntos. Desde luego, el mantener el equipo, estamos desde la temporada 10 juntos, casi todo el equipo, y eso es crucial para el comienzo de esta temporada. Queremos seguir trabajando de esta forma y mantener el gran ambiente que tenemos.
Thank you very much. We've got time for one question from the room. You can ask in English or Spanish or any of the drivers' native tongues if you'd like to.
Perdón, si alguien tiene una pregunta, puede hacerse en español, en inglés o en el idioma de cualquiera de los pilotos.
Nick Golding, Racing News 365. Question to all three of you. Obviously, with testing going to Madrid last year, this is the first time we've seen the Gen 3 Evo in Valencia. What's the car felt like around this track, and would you like to race it around here?
It feels obviously a little bit more grip than the previous time we were here, so that comes mainly from the tyres. I personally I think I've done 2 4-wheel drive laps, so I don't have the most experience over the last day, but yeah, for sure the speed's a lot better, and the performance of the car, I think, what is the lap time? Maybe 3 seconds faster than when we were here the other year.
We were very far, yeah.
So yeah, I think 3 seconds, so it's a decent step, yeah.
It's mainly the tire, and you kind of have to adapt the way you program your test items for the day, just because the tires obviously are a bit more performance when they're new, and then there's a little bit of a drop. But they've been behaving really well and kind of stabilizing, so it's quite useful to try things on the car. But yeah, the tire is the biggest thing, and just adapting to that.
Thank you.
Bien, la pregunta es para los tres. Después de años donde habéis hecho las pruebas en Madrid, ahora estáis por primera vez aquí con Evo en Valencia. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo os ha ido? La respuesta de Oliver es de que, bueno, yo he hecho 2 vueltas sobre todo con el 4-wheel drive, el marcha 4 ruedas, y las vueltas que he dado he notado que hemos ido más rápido. He preguntado a su rival y parece que sí, que 3 segundos son lo que están detectando todos, así que es mucho más rápido. La respuesta de Antonio, bueno, yo creo que se centra sobre todo en los neumáticos, y esto es algo que tenemos que programar, tener esto en cuenta. Los nuevos neumáticos obviamente pues dan un mejor resultado y tenemos que ver exactamente cómo gestionarlos. Y para mí aquí es un buen sitio para probarlo, y para mí eso es lo clave, los neumáticos.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our drivers. Our team representatives will be taking their seats in just a second. Thank you.
Muchas gracias a nuestros pilotos, y ahora dentro de unos momentos estarán aquí los jefes de equipo para seguir con la rueda de prensa.
Well, welcome to our team representatives. We have Roger Griffiths from Andretti Formula E team, Phil Charles from DS Penske, and Florian Modlinger from Porsche Formula E team. Roger, I'll start with you. Big season for the team. You've got a big new signing that I know a lot of people are going to have eyes on. You know, Felipe Drugovich has been a driver that's been looking for a home for a long time, and you've given him that home.
Yeah, no, we're very happy to welcome him to Formula E. I mean, he's put in a few appearances over the last year or two in various rookie sessions, and obviously made his race debut in Berlin. I think he's a driver that, you know, he's been a little bit overlooked over the last 2 or 3 years, somewhat parked in a reserve role in Formula One. Whilst he's had some experience in sports car racing, he hasn't had a consistent racing program, and I think that opportunity that we've given him to have that racing program has really sort of energized him. And you know, he was sort of talking about how when he was doing the Formula One simulator sessions, it was, yeah, maybe not so much fun because he was preparing a car for somebody else. Whereas now he's coming on to our simulator and he's realizing that all the time he puts in is benefiting himself, you know, and his teammate Jake, of course. But so he's got a fresh outlook on it. He's super excited about the opportunity. You know, in some ways I'd really wish that his home race wasn't the first one. But, you know, I think by the time we get down to Sao Paulo and he, you know, he's completed a week of running here, he'll be ready to go. I mean, I think he's got a lot of learning to do compared to some of the other drivers, particularly around the nuances of the tyre. I mean, there's some drivers here that have done, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of laps around Valencia. So he's not yet into triple figures, I don't think. So he's still got a bit of a way to go.
Bien, estamos contentos de tener aquí con nosotros a 3 de los jefes de equipo. Tenemos a Roger Griffiths de Andretti Formula E, a Phil Charles de DS Penske y a Florian Modlinger de Porsche Formula E Team. Y bien, la primera pregunta es para Roger. Roger, habéis fichado a un fichaje muy importante este año, tener con vosotros a Felipe Drugovich. Ahora lo tenéis con vosotros. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo ha ido eso? Bueno, estamos muy contentos, estamos muy contentos de tenerle aquí con nosotros. Él ha estado pues dando algunas vueltas, lleva tiempo que no ha acabado de aterrizar del todo, pero estamos muy contentos de tenerle porque pensamos que es alguien que no se han fijado lo suficiente en él y no ha tenido tanta experiencia, y por lo tanto el traerle a nosotros nos da esa oportunidad de ofrecerle a él la oportunidad de coger esa experiencia. Le ofrecemos eso. Yo sé que cuando él estaba en el simulador pues lo hacía, pero no estaba contento porque sabía que estaba preparando el coche para otra persona, pero obviamente ahora lo hace para él y para su compañero Jake, y por lo tanto lo toma con muchísima más ilusión. Él le sabe mal que la primera carrera no es en casa para él, pero bueno, cuando llegue estará muy bien. Yo creo que dentro de poco, en unas semanas, tiene mucho que aprender, pero hay otros que han estado aquí haciendo más de 100 vueltas seguro en su trayecto en Valencia, y él pues es la primera vez. Por lo tanto, aquí tendrá mucho que aprender y a conseguir.
Very impressive.
That was incredibly impressive, wasn't it? Roger, how do you look back on last season? Because there were 3 podiums, but it felt like that wasn't a true representation of your performance as a team, and I know you'll be wanting to put that right this season.
It was a disappointing year. I mean, it's the first year that we've not had a race win in a little while. We can look back at any number of incidences that occurred, reliability, some off-track stuff that really didn't go to plan. You know, you can always do the what-if scenario, and if this had happened and that had happened, maybe there was a P3 in the championship for the team. You know, we lost a race win in Monaco potentially with Nico when the boost charger failed. We had an opportunity of a race win in Jakarta go by the wayside with Jake, and he got confused which button to press coming out of the yellow mode. So we squandered some opportunity. We had some reliability challenges, but you know, we learned from it. We put that behind us and we focus forward on what this season can bring.
Bien, Roger, quería preguntarte acerca de la temporada pasada. ¿No fue todo lo que os hubiera gustado? La respuesta de Roger es que sí, fue muy decepcionante. Hacía mucho tiempo que habíamos pasado una temporada pues, sin victorias como esta y ocurrieron muchas cosas fuera de la pista, cosas que no estaban del todo bien. Por ejemplo, en Mónaco pues falló el booster, la carga, y eso nos hizo mucho daño porque íbamos muy bien. Y por ejemplo también Jake apretó el botón, se equivocó, apretó el botón equivocado cuando salió del amarillo. Y bueno, tuvimos algunas oportunidades que desperdiciamos, digamos. Pero bueno, estamos muy ilusionados con lo que podemos hacer y vamos a centrarnos en esta nueva temporada.
Thank you very much, Roger. We'll move on to you, Florian. I'm sure the celebrations after London continued for a very long time. How does it feel to be... You seem like you might want to tell me something there. You can choose to tell me when I finish the question. How does it feel to be back here for pre-season testing, knowing that you are the team to beat from last season?
Well, before that question gets answered, we're back to green flag running, and Jack Pickering has joined us from Trackside. Jack, give us any information then, mate. What's going on out there?
So, obviously, we saw that the yellow flag...
Oh, and we lost him.
Brilliant.
Okay, good.
We've got you back. Hello.
I'm just checking.
Hello, we've got you back. Go for it.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry. I will stand closer. Alice Powell stopped, we believe, with a technical problem on the inside of turn 4. The car's been airlifted, carried over behind the barriers. It's been put on a flatbed now, and we've taken to the back of the garage. I'll try and go down and see what's happened in a bit. Everyone had. That was the reason for the red flag.
Excellent. I was wondering what you're going to say there as well about it. I was like, it's been airlifted? How serious is this issue for the car?
Yeah, no. It's like the tractor came on and lifted it up. It's been lifted in the air. It's been airlifted.
Lovely. But the Nicky's asked, have you been burnt by the sun yet?
No. It's a very kind of cloudy day in Valencia. It's nice and cool. It's not been too hot. Yesterday
Have you
it
got
was
your sun
absolutely
cream on?
roasting. I haven't yet because in the morning the sun is on the other side of the building. So when I come out onto the balcony, it's all in the shade, so I don't need to. It's only in the afternoon session where I come out and I need sun cream. So yeah, give it another maybe half an hour, and I think I might put some on.
You're going to need it. It's going to get very warm over there, my friend. So how was the press conferences then? Any good? Any information that we can juicy look forward to later?
Down in the
Lost him again.
Yeah.
Hello. Is he back?
Yes, am I?
Hello,
I don't
Pico.
know. Hello. Dan's off to South Africa next week to film a...
Well, that could be anything Dan Tinkton could film. I'm scared to ask the question what he could film in South Africa.
New TV show thing is what Pico was going to say.
Ah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pico, your signal's really bad out there at the moment.
Okay. I may just test some other locations just to see how it is. But he's out in South Africa next week. Seb Buemi, it's his birthday today. I did wish him happy birthday. He's had a solid week. Obviously had that problem earlier in the week, but nothing major to draw. It's crazy to think that this week was his first time in the car since London, and
wow.
Zane feels like he's turned a corner, so that's good. In the women's press conference, Jamie Sharrock was very much kind of like leading the conversation out of those 5, but it was good to hear from the 5 of them. And then in the teams, we've obviously heard from Ian James of Florian Modelling this week, but it was good to hear from Cyril about the new infrastructure, the new team structure at Citroen, which was obviously Maserati last season, and what their aims are for this season.
Pico, we'll catch up with you later on in the day. Go and get some rest, my friend.
All right, I shall see you in a bit.
Take care, mate. Let's head back down. Go on, Jesse.
You can actually see on the driver tracker the flatbed with pals going around the roads that wrap around and surround the circuit.
I was wondering why she was moving again.
Now.
She is moving again, and we do not know why. Okay.
Quite gorgeous.
We will check in later and get back into all the action. We will get back now to the press conference.
Yeah, first of all, welcome everyone to the new season. The celebrations were not that long, were quite short, because we have to focus on the next steps. We are happy to be here again and to start into the season. And yeah, feels different to be in the hunted position, but we are not underestimating anybody here in the series. The competition is so close, and we need to have the heads down, full focus. It does not count what was in the past. We are looking forward and try to fight again for the titles until the very end.
Bien, Florian, quiero preguntarte acerca de la celebración después de Londres. ¿Qué tal estar aquí de nuevo y para las pruebas y ser el equipo que hay que vencer, ¿no? La respuesta es de que realmente no queremos, o sea, tuvimos una buena celebración, pero no duró mucho porque ya nos pusimos a trabajar en los siguientes pasos. Estamos encantados de ser el equipo a batir, pero no queremos subestimar a ninguno de los equipos. De hecho, vamos a seguir con un enfoque total sobre lo que estamos haciendo y vamos a luchar cada carrera para volver a ser campeones.
Nico Muller's obviously come into the team this summer and he's very familiar with the powertrain already. So how seamless are you expecting to be his transition from Andretti last year to Porsche this year?
Yeah, there also thanks to Andretti for the past season. I think Nico is very familiar with the car, with the powertrain, integrated well already to the usage of the car. And through the first simulator sessions and the first tests we had with him, he's, in my opinion, already well integrated in the team, which worked well, and looking forward to have him on the side of Pascal, and really optimistic for the new season.
Bien, la pregunta es, ya tenéis a Nico vosotros este año, ¿qué tal esa transición desde el equipo de Andretti al vuestro? La respuesta es, bueno, obviamente es un cambio para él, pero él sabe muy bien utilizar el coche, está muy integrado en el equipo y estamos seguros que va a funcionar muy bien.
Thank you very much. I'll move on to Phil. You've also got a shiny new signing, much like Roger, but your shiny new signing is the standout rookie from last year that we can finally talk about. How has it been working with Taylor Barnard so far?
Well, first of all, it's great to be back in Valencia. You know, the floods last year, amazing to be here. And then secondly, to answer your question, I've got a big smile on my face with Max and Taylor. But Taylor comes in, he's the most amazing young talent. He did a great rookie year, as you mentioned, but it's more than that. He's doing a lot of homework in the background with us already. He spends a lot of time on the sim. He works really well with the engineers. I mentioned yesterday to some other questions somebody asked, he's really a really nice jigsaw piece puzzle that fits into the team. So he's an aggressive driver on track, races really hard, amazing young talent, that's exciting, and he fits into our group really well. So with Max and Taylor, really, really pleased. Big smile. In fact, he's hurting a little bit. I'm smiling so much. And really looking forward to the season.
Bien, la pregunta, también tenéis un fichaje muy importante este año, el rookie de la temporada pasada, Taylor Barnard. ¿Qué tal el tenerlo con vosotros? Bueno, en primer lugar, estoy muy contento de estar aquí de vuelta y también, sobre todo, después de las terribles inundaciones que hubieron. Y referente a tener a Taylor, pues tenemos todos una gran sonrisa en la cara. Él lo está haciendo muy bien, está trabajando duro, está haciendo sus deberes y además está trabajando muy bien con los ingenieros. Encaja perfectamente en el equipo y creo que con Max y Taylor juntos pues se van a entender muy bien y van a trabajar juntos y vamos a seguir trabajando para una muy buena temporada.
fifth in the team's championship last year. I know that's not where you want to be, and I know also you've got two gentlemen to your right that you don't want to disclose too many secrets to. But what have you been focusing on in the off season, and what will you be focusing on this week in testing to help right that situation?
Sure. I mean, that's a really good question. And we, of course, we're aiming to beat these guys every day. You know, that's the focus of all of the group. But you have to look inside. You have to look at what did we do well last year, but what are the areas that we really want to work on. We went into the last race last season in third in the championship. We came out in fifth. So we had a little weak spot right at the end of the season. So that's the obvious thing. You've just finished on a little down and you think, right, hang on, what happened there? We won 2 races the rest of the season. We had good pace at lots of places, but we came out of the last race not quite where we were. So that's the immediate one that we answered. And there's some little obvious items there that we've put right. But I think it's also clear to say that when you start to look introspectively, you don't know what the others are doing. You know, you go away. It's like I've mentioned before. It's like when you're at school. You know, you've done a school year. Everyone goes away for their holidays. What have they learned while they're away? Have they all grown? Have they learned something new? They've done a new course while they're away, and they come back, and you don't know what the others have done. So we don't know whether the others have grown a foot. But what we do know is we've worked on ourselves, and there's lots of areas that when you really break it down that you can improve on. And there's lots of work that we do in the virtual world, so lots of simulation that's gone on in that period between the 2 seasons. So you put lots of little bits together. There's a few changes that we've been able to make on the team side, bring in Taylor, and we've hopefully got a really good package there that will deliver going forwards.
Bien, la pregunta para Phil. Bueno, quedasteis quintos el año pasado, no es lo que os hubiera gustado. ¿En qué os vais a centrar durante esta semana de prueba? Bueno, sí, es una buena pregunta porque estamos aquí para ganar a todos los demás. Esa es la motivación, ¿no? Pero sobre todo tenemos que mirar hacia adentro. Tenemos que ver cuáles son las cosas que tenemos que arreglar. El año pasado pues estábamos a terceros, bajamos hasta quintos. Realmente pues tuvimos una final de la temporada bastante insuficiente en lo que nosotros consideramos. Pero creo que lo más importante es esa introspección. No sabemos lo que los demás van a hacer. Es algo así cuando vuelves del colegio. Has estado de vacaciones, no has visto a tus compañeros, tú sabes lo que tú has hecho, pero no sabes lo que han hecho ellos. Y nosotros hemos trabajado duro durante este periodo entre las temporadas y obviamente hay muchas cosas que podemos mejorar, pero hemos estado trabajando duro en simulaciones y en el lado del equipo, pues el tener a Taylor con nosotros es una gran ventaja y estamos muy animados para esta temporada.
Gracias. Would anyone like to ask a question? We've got time for one quick question if anyone has one.
Tenemos tiempo para una pregunta breve si alguien tiene.
Hi, Jack Pickering, Formula E-Zone. Question to Phil. We saw yesterday Taylor had a stoppage out on circuit. Could you just let us know what happened there? We saw you head down to the end of the pit lane to go collect it.
Were you watching me? Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, I was running as fast as I could, but I've actually hurt my foot, so I couldn't get as quick as I wanted to. So we had a component failure on the car. When you shake down new equipment, occasionally little things like that can sneak through. We shook down our cars in the last couple of weeks. But that component, unfortunately, just caused us a problem yesterday. I run as quick as I can because you always learn something from the scene. I like to look at the tyre marks because that can be a real indication of what failed in the order it did. In this case, it was nothing too serious. He just had a lock up and went off. So, but thanks for watching. And I was trying my best to get there. Next time, if you can take some photos and come and find me, that would be super useful as well.
Bien, la pregunta es para Phil. Vimos que Taylor tuvo un parón, se tuvo que parar. ¿Qué es lo que pasó? Y también vimos que tú fuiste corriendo hacia allá. Y la respuesta es, pues sí, veo que estabas muy pendiente de lo que yo hice, pero no pude correr mucho más rápido porque me había hecho daño en el pie. Fue un fallo de uno de los componentes, una de las piezas. Habíamos hecho un buen repaso del coche, mirando todos los aspectos, pero se ve que eso se nos escapó. A mí me gusta ir corriendo al lugar donde sucede porque creo que de la escena se puede aprender mucho. Yo me gusta fijarme en las marcas de los neumáticos, pero bueno, esto es lo que hubo. Yo te doy las gracias por fijarte y la próxima vez, por favor, haz fotos de mí corriendo hacia el coche.
Thank you very much. I believe that's all we've got time for. Thank you to our team representatives and thank you to everyone in the room.
Gracias a todos, es el tiempo que tenemos y muchas gracias y buenas tardes.
All set then to get ready. What is being a very interesting run so far, as we have 2 hours and 15 minutes to go. No real change in the times. That'll be pulling to the top 124.079. But we have got right now on a full power lap Chloe Chambers 28.007 only in the first sector.
Yep, so she's pushing on and going quite quickly as well at this moment in time. Of course, a driver who, well, finds herself as an outside contender now for the F1 Academy crown after things have gone wrong in major ways as well. But yeah, she's going to try and just push on currently and continue on a 30.385 through the second sector.
Up towards the exit of turn 12 then we've got the 13, 14, 15 chicane just on the back stretch. Alice Powell's car is back in the pit lane. Over the line comes Chloe Chambers. Is it the new fastest time in the test so far? It's a 1:23.233. So we're getting faster and faster at the moment. Let's go down to Jack Pickering. Jack, what have you got for us?
Hello, guys. Yes, I'm just had a little wander down to where Alice Powell's car is being recovered. There's nothing that I can see on the top. I'm just going to have a little wander around to see if I can see any better. There are some scratch marks on the tyres. Yeah. I'll see if I can get Toby Wirtz's impression on this very quickly. He's just round here taking some pictures as well. We're fairly certain that looks more or less okay. There is some scrapes on the left-hand side of the car.
Interesting.
But yeah, the Envision mechanics very quick to take it take it out a shot. I'm just going to try and get close with Toby here and try and cue him. What can we see from the car?
Yeah, it looks like the car touched the barrier on the left side, and additionally, the right front tire has some slightly scratches on the orange marking of Hankook. So I'm not sure if that's because she touched the barrier or maybe they were not that careful when putting it on the truck. But yeah, car seems okay. They're pushing it back into the pits, and maybe she'll be able to go out on track again in half an hour time or something like that. But as one of the FIA people told me, she had a brake failure, and this probably could be an issue with the powertrain. I think because the brake system on the rear axle is just regeneration, and if there's a failure, then maybe powertrain, maybe inverter, maybe something like that. I don't know, to be honest, but yeah, doesn't look good, to be honest.
And it's interesting that it's the brakes, because that is also Sebastien Buemi's car that he drove on Monday. Do you think that might be a recurring issue, or is it just the fact? Is it just coincidence? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just coincidence, but well, we have to wait and see what it was. I think the engineers at Envision together with Jaguar are investigating it, and maybe we get some information later during the session. But I'm not sure if we'll see Alice Powell on the track again today.
Yeah,
this year.
Yeah. That's fair. Cheers, Toby. Josh, we'll throw it back up to you.
Thanks, Pico. Thanks, Toby. Oh, well, Omi, that's a bit of disappointment. Alice Powell can't get another traction out there. That power unit failure looks like.
Yep, a huge shame as well, and she'll be disappointed with that as well. And yeah, a huge shame, because this is all meant to be about opportunity and getting some good running in and giving all the drivers the best chance to get some of that running, and of course assisting the team in any way, as we've heard in the interviews as well. So for Alice Powell to not get that, quite a bit of a shame. Let's hope that doesn't strike any of the other drivers.
Let's hope so. Okay, let's send it back downstairs then, with Chambers on top from pulling, Marty, Noda, Garcia, Calderon, Chadwick, Jokova, Lloyd, and Buster match at the top 10. Powell looks like she's going to be out. Edgar, Brewer, and Sherrill at the 14. Let's send it down then to the press conference on Wednesday with the drivers.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our drivers' press conference for today. From left to right on the stage, we have Pepe Marti from Cupra Kiro, Pascal Wehrlein with Porsche Formula E team, and Taylor Barnard with DS Penske. Pascal, I'll start with you. Last season, the title was just out of your reach personally, but a great season for the team. Are those good vibes continuing into testing and into the new season?
Yeah, I think finishing third in the Drivers' Championship and winning the Teams and Manufacturer Championship, you cannot say it was a bad season. So we definitely take those positives. We take that we, won every title within the last 2 years, and now it's the last season of the Gen 3 car, and let's make it everything in 1 year.
Pascal, how does it feel to come into this season, obviously knowing, as you've already alluded to there, that this is the final year of the Gen 3 era, and Porsche have been very strong in this era? You must know that you're going to be strong and in and about it. It must feel good to come into testing knowing that you will once again be competitive going into season 12.
It feels good and a bit sad in a way also, because yeah, like you said, we know that this package is able to win races, to win championships. So we are definitely looking forward to the next season. But also it's the last season of a very competitive car, and obviously we knew that probably we overall we were the car and the team to beat in this era, and it's never guaranteed that it will be the same in a new generation of cars. So but still I'm very looking forward to that as well.
You have a new teammate coming in this year, Nico Müller, who obviously knows the powertrain incredibly well. How have you been helping him, first of all, settle in to the Porsche ecosystem? And, what can you give someone advice that you've been racing against and is a great driver already? Does it seem a little strange to be giving a competitor advice, even if he is your teammate?
Depends on who it is. With Nico, it feels not strange at all, but no, jokes aside. I mean, it's great to have him in the team. He has a lot of experience, so the good thing is he has already experience with our car, with the 99X Electric, when he did the season last year with Andretti, so it's not very difficult for him to get used to the settings and everything. And he just needs to get to know his engineers and his group of people he's working with. But otherwise, I'm sure the transition will be very fast.
And you have a good relationship together?
Very good.
Thank you, Pascal. Taylor, I'll move on to you. There's been a lot of change since the end of last season. I believe you've moved into your first flat by now?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Excellent. So, but on the track, obviously, we're focused about what you're here to talk about. A new team that speak very highly of you. How are you settling in, first of all?
Yeah, it's been very good so far. Of course, we've done lots of work on the simulator back at the factory, but now it's the first chance we actually get to attack the track together. Working with Max as well, first time, so I think it's going well so far.
Earlier this week, we heard from Phil Charles, who speaks very highly of you, is clearly a big fan of yourself. What's your relationship with Phil, and how influential was he in you deciding to take the next step of your career with DS Penske?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I didn't really know Phil that much before my transition. We're working great together so far. Lots of work in the simulator. I think Phil likes the simulator as much as me, so that goes quite well. Obviously we've not had so much time together as of right now, but it's going good at the moment.
You ticked off an impressive array of accolades in your rookie season. There's one that you didn't quite achieve, and you know what that is. That's that first race win. How confident are you that that first race win will come this season? And how soon do you think a first race win can come realistically when you've changed teams and you're having to learn a whole new setup?
Yeah, of course. It's the one that I'm trying to get, of course. It depends on how fast I can get used to the team, how well I'm working with my engineers from the beginning.
it's obviously quite a big change. I have to change powertrain, which is also very difficult. I need to get used to the steering wheel, all the systems and everything. So hopefully I can get it very soon. Yeah, I have some confidence in myself after last year, but let's see how it goes.
Thanks very much, Taylor. Pepe, first of all, welcome to the Formula E World Championship. It must be very cool for you that your first experience of the Gen 3 Evo car is here in Spain.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously in the last 5 years I've worked with a team from Valencia as well, so just south of here, like half an hour, so it feels like home. And yeah, it's very special to have my first go here.
Much like Taylor did last year, you've jumped from an F2 car straight into a Formula E car. You've had your first few sessions out here. What's the biggest difference that you've noticed straight away?
Everything. I mean, it's completely different to what everything I'm used to. You know, you have to relearn many things. In the end, you're used to like smashing down the brake pedal as hard as you can in a Formula 2, Formula 3, and then here is about being as economical or as utilizing all the systems in your advantage. So it's very different, and obviously I didn't really have many simulator sessions before coming here, and everything's still quite new. So same as Taylor, also struggling sometimes with the wheel about what does this do, etc., etc. But yeah, nonetheless, it's been a good experience so far, and I think especially this morning there were some very good things obviously in the timing sheets. It doesn't look like it, but I'm feeling more and more comfortable.
You were the final driver to be confirmed for this year's championship, which obviously throws you in at the deep end a little bit. How much of that decision was based on maybe seeing what Taylor managed to do last year, making that big jump, and also with Gen 4 on the horizon as well?
Yeah, obviously Gen 4 and a race in Madrid as well, which is something I'm very excited for, was a big implication on it. But then again, it's a competition, and it also was a step for me to become a professional racing driver in the end in Formula 2. It's a Formula 2, not Formula 1, so it's not a professional championship. Whereas here, this is a world championship, and obviously we've got drivers like Pascal who are very proven successful drivers, and yeah, some of the best in the world. So it's also good for me to learn and to keep improving.
Question for Pepe: how was your first experience in a kind of race yesterday?
Well, not great. I had a bit of an incident. Was slightly adjacent to myself, but then again, yeah, it was quite interesting. Obviously, there's a massive concertina effect, which I'm not used to in the slow corners, and all of that is completely new to me. So it was very interesting to be a part of one. Obviously, in Sao Paulo, I think I'll get a probably more real, fierce experience of what the racing is like. But yeah, it feels quite interesting. I think obviously if you're at the front of the pack, it's like in any racing series, if you're at the front, you obviously have a bit more control. So hopefully we can start somewhere in a decent position, and then that obviously gets you out of many trouble.
Thank you very much. One more question from anyone?
The question is if you have noticed the difference in the tires between your session yesterday and the session today.
No.
No.
If he says no, then I also say no.
I say yes. For me, it was a big one.
Thank you very much. That wraps up our driver press conference.
Well, that really came out quick, didn't it, that press conference? So, we have currently got 2 hours to go. Nothing really happening, Omi, on the timing sheets at the moment.
Absolutely. At the moment, as you mentioned, we've had a few lap times come in, but other than that, it all is calm, and they're all just getting on with the running as it stands as well, which is great to see. But we've got our top 3 that only have 1.2 seconds between them as well.
So let's get back to it and join the team's press conference from that day.
From left to right, we have Mark Preston from the Lola Yamaha Apt Formula E team, Ian James from Jaguar TCS Racing, and Sylvain Filippi from Envision Racing. Ian, a new job for you. You've got 2 new drivers in your fold. Must be a very exciting time to take over at Jaguar TCS Racing.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Firstly, great to be here. Great to be back on the track in Valencia, as always. Yeah, very exciting time to be joining the Jaguar TCS Formula E team. It's obviously been one of the staples of the Formula E landscape for many, many years. And for me personally, a great opportunity not only to come into a team with such rich history and heritage, but also get back into the manufacturer fold as well, which is something I've been looking forward to. So no, great opportunity. Early days, 3.5 weeks in, so still on a very steep learning curve, but very much enjoying it.
On a personal level for you, it was the end of a very long chapter in London, and it was an emotional end to that chapter. How do you take time out to kind of close that one chapter before starting this new chapter, 3.5 weeks ago?
I was looking forward to a very sort of relaxing summer and the sort of glide path out of one organisation and then into another, and of course it never works out that way. So it was there was a lot going on, a lot we needed to do with the team. Just very quickly to reflect on that, maybe very happy, and it shows the quality of the people that we have working in this championship in particular. That pretty much every single team member was snapped up very quickly indeed. As we wound that organisation down, which, as I say, is testament to the people involved. But I always knew also coming into this new role, there was going to be a lot to do. So a lot of preparation over the summer, getting to know some of the characters involved as well. So no rest for the wicked, as they say. Good luck on translating that one. I hope there's something in Spanish we can go with that.
You come into an organisation that's had some great success in recent years, but also has high demands, and the driver's title is still a title you'd like to add to your collection. How competitive are you, how confident are you that you'll be competitive in every championship that you're competing in, all three of them this season?
Well, I'm very competitive to start with, which is great, as is the team. In terms of confidence, I'm not naive to the challenge. We're starting to see already within the last 2.5 days just how tight season 12 is going to be. The level of competition just increases year by year, but of course we're going into the 4th year of this Gen 3 phase, and it means that the performance of all the teams' manufacturers has converged as well. So it's going to be a huge challenge, but I'm confident at least that we've got the ingredients. What we now need to find is the consistency to be able to deliver, but we'll be chasing after all 3 titles, that's for sure.
Thank you very much, Ian. Sylvain, you managed 3 podiums last season, but I think you would admit that it was disappointing with points a little bit hard to come by. How are you working as a team, as an organisation, on being more in the mix this season?
Yes, good afternoon first, everybody. Yeah, I think last year, as with our partners at Jaguar, we had some reliability issues. We've been, it was a new year, Evo version of the car. So yeah, we've been fighting reliability issues, which have been harming our effort in performance. So we managed to show, especially towards the end of the season with Jaguar as well, some better performance towards the end of the season. But we've had some issues. So yeah, we definitely aim to do better this year. I have high hopes ultimately that we'll be able to unlock the performance. These cars are getting more and more complex, and as Ian said, it's getting more and more competitive every year. So yeah, we need to. I'm hoping for a calmer garage, and hopefully we can focus on performance and have much better results.
Much like Ian, you're working with a new driver this season with Joel Eriksson coming into the team. What was the thinking behind Joel being your second driver with Seb, and what does he bring to the team?
Yeah, so we've known Joel for a very long time. We tested him many years ago alongside Giovanazzi, and we liked him a lot at the time. He had signed at the time a deal with DTM and ultimately went and did that. But he's been on our radar for a long time, and then as timing and life happens, he ended up at Jaguar in the reserve and development role, which was really great because you could then see what he was doing and so on. So yeah, he's a driver we've always been very excited about. He's one of these exciting young talent coming, and it doesn't hurt at all that he knows the car really well, having been embedded in the Jaguar environment. So we are really excited to have him on board and develop a new talent. And we'll see what the beginning of the season brings for him. A lot to adapt. But don't forget that he did such an excellent job deputizing in Berlin last year when we had the WEC clash issues. And he managed to score points on his second race in a really, really combative field when it was the peak of the peloton races. So I have a very high degree of confidence that he has the pace and also the kind of the racecraft to emerge really well from this racing. So yeah, it's really great. And then I think it's really great to see young drivers coming and new faces in the sport, but also people that represent the sport really well. He's a really good all-round guy, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the sport. So, yeah, I wish him really great success. We'll do everything we can to support him, and then hopefully we'll have a great time in Formula E.
Thank you very much, Mark. Congratulations, first of all, on your new role. How did these changes behind the scene at the team come about this week?
Yeah, obviously Thomas Buemi is focusing more on his duties as CEO at Abt in Germany. So at the same time, Lola's building up more now for getting ready for Gen 4, and made sense that we get closer and closer together as a group. Obviously, Fred Espinosa will work with me very closely and continue to run all the operations of the team. As Lola starts to build up more a vehicle science team and other elements that we get ready for our Gen 4 operations, and obviously continue from last year and try to get some more points and go a bit quicker.
You're one of the teams that stuck with the same driver lineup that we saw on track last year. It was a very tough rookie year for Zane Maloney. How important for you and for him is it that his development continues and he gets some points soon? Because I know that that's kind of one hurdle that might stick in the back of a driver's mind.
Yeah, he's working very hard at the moment. He's having a good day actually yesterday and today, so I think we're making progress, which will help him. Obviously a difficult year last year, but it was at Gen 3.5, and so we came in a bit later than everybody else. And as we all know, being in this sport for a long time, it takes a while to build up. So we're building up carefully. Really, we're trying to sort of go forward always. I like to be on a positive gradient, so hopefully the positive gradient will mean that he gets points soon. But he's going quite well today over this test, so I think confidence is building all the time.
Thank you very much, Mark. I'm just going to open it up if anyone would like to ask a question. Incredibly quick there from Jack.
Hello, Jack Jordan Maynard from Formula Reason. Question to Ian. I just want to know, obviously, because new environment, how does it feel? Does it feel like those early days at Mercedes when you first walked in, a completely new team? And how do you think your experience, because obviously you won 2 championships with the team and the drivers at Mercedes, and Van Dorn, can't forget Van Dorn. How do you think your experience of those championship wins can help Jaguar maybe cross the line?
Well, I think it is definitely different. I'm glad to be all in black now. It's much more slimming, which is nice. I think the key difference though when we started out as Mercedes is that we started really with a blank sheet of paper. So building up from nothing. I've now coming into an environment which has been established for a long time, has had a huge amount of success, has a brilliant team of men and women already in place. So it's a different challenge for me. A different dynamic, but one I'm very much looking forward to. In terms of what I can bring to the party and that experience, I'm going to take my time observing and just understanding how it's working at the moment before we sort of see what I can do to add value into it. At the end of the day, I'm there to support the team to make sure that they've got everything that they need in order to deliver, and as we were talking about earlier, deliver on those 3 championships as well. So we'll take it step by step, but very, very much looking forward to the challenge. And of course, not only have we got season 12 to look forward to, but we're already starting and have started work on preparing for Gen 4, which means that the workload and that intro is going to be pretty significant.
Thank you very much. That's all we have time for. Thank you for attending. Thank you to our guests, our team principals, and thank you very much to Eddie for incredible translations.
Thank you.
Translation, please.
They've been having fun with that translation all week, haven't they, JT?
Yeah, they have.
Very nice. Very good.
Hello. Does JB not know what Gen Z is?
What's Gen Z? I have literally got no idea. I really don't. I don't even know what this 6-7 group 7 thing even, or whatever this thingy is that he's telling me. I've got no idea. I'm so old. Maybe I shouldn't be commentating on Formula 1. I don't know. Okay, well, that's the interviews done up. Now it's time to go to some interviews to start with as well. Let's go back. First of all, though, boys, anything happening that we need to look at?
Well, Lloyd jumped to second, I guess. That's one thing that has happened as well in the I guess the little bit of time that we were hearing that all come through. Nothing between right now our top four in terms of it's really close, especially in that top four. Pulling can easily find some time, I think. Same with Marty, Lloyd, Chadwick. I think will also want to get in there. So we could get some interesting switches up at the front, but Chambers looking good at the moment as well.
Okay, I'm actually scared. Go on, JT.
You don't know the
Sorry, you can't hear you because your microphone's cutting out because you can't use technology.
Oh.
Could have used his boom arm, not using his boom arm. Okay, right. Let's go back then and join over with the round table that was hosted between the media and Jeff Dodds.
Obviously, like back in Valencia, obviously important because obviously Formula E based here. Obviously, from what happened last year.
Yeah.
Right, JT's got his mic fixed. Before we play it, let's go back to him. JT.
You don't know the own generation that your sister is a part of.
Yeah, because there's 6 years between me and Megan. I was born in 1999. She was born in 2005. So she's Gen Z. I'm just on the verge of being a millennial because they've reclassified that to go to 2001.
So you do know what Gen Z is?
I don't know what Gen Z is. I just know what millennial is because that's what I am, just about. Nina is a millennial.
There is no saving you, Joshua Birch.
No, quite right. Oh well, death then. Bye-bye. Right, let's go back and join the round table.
Obviously, like back in Valencia, obviously important because obviously Formula E based here. Obviously, from what happened last year.
Yeah.
How important is it, obviously, just to be back in Valencia and kick off the season? Obviously, last Gen 3 Evo season as well.
Yeah.
So, how important is that for Formula E just being back here?
So, it's my first time here actually. So I started 2.5 years ago, but I wasn't able to do the season 10 testing in season 9 because I had a different appointment. And then with obviously the floods last year. So it's actually my first time here. So, but I think it's a really interesting location for us because our founders are Spanish. So Spain has a very special place for us. We do have an office here at this track, as you know, which is where our logistics hub is based out of. And we're going to our first race in Spain this year. So it feels very poignant that we're back here in Valencia. I think it feels a little more poignant after all the tragedy of last year with the flooding. They've done the most remarkable job here to get the circuit and the track back to good shape. But of course, whilst we're just looking at the track, if you look beyond the track, there's still a huge amount of work and recovery that will be going on for many years to come. So yeah, it feels lovely to be back here and lovely to be supporting the province or the region of Valencia.
The tragedy was exactly 1 year ago today.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And it's gone so quickly as well, that time period. But I came and visited just after the floods, and it was absolute devastation here. It was absolutely tragic.
Let's talk about your vision, right? Because we talked last year about your vision for Formula E and where it's going. How do you think you are on that journey? Because obviously Gen 4 next season, obviously we can't discount this season in terms of the vision, in terms of Gen 3 Evo and pushing that marketing and pushing that thing ready for Gen 4. So how do you think the last year has gone in terms of elevating Formula E to a higher level?
So this man's going to earn his money now because it'll be a long answer. So yeah, I have to look at that through lots of different lenses. So if we look at how's it gone in the data, so have we grown? We're a growth business. We're a fast growth business. So on one hand, fan base has grown pretty rapidly. TV audience has grown pretty rapidly. Our media footprint has grown. Our digital views and our digital footprint has really grown quickly. So if I look back on last year, I thought it was a good year in terms of some of the numbers of growth. But we also can't discount the environment that we're trying to grow in because it's a pretty complicated environment for the auto sector right now. So I think if you look at the leadership of the manufacturers that support our championship, pretty much, with the exception of one, I think they pretty much all had a change of CEO in the last 12 months, going through very complicated time. So we've delivered growth set against the context of a very complicated environment that we're trading in. But whilst it's the last year of Gen 3 Evo, of course, everything in the background is about developing the next car, because that will be shown to the world in the spring of next year, and it will be on the track, physically on the track, probably from December of next year. So we're not far off, a year away from that car being racing at the start of season 13. So very satisfied with how that car's developing. And in the end, racing's about cars and drivers. So attracting new drivers to the championship, Felipe Drogovic and people like that coming into the championship, and us putting them in a car that is an absolutely world-class car is top priority for me. So I could talk about calendar expansion, so Miami Hard Rock, first race in Madrid, second race in China. I can talk about new drivers coming. I can talk about Mr. Beast. I could talk about the Evo sessions, about loads of stuff that we've done. But in the end, making sure that we produce an absolutely amazing Gen 4 car and we continue the underlying growth is what it's all about. So I don't like to score myself. Maybe 7.5 out of 10. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
About political questions, some years ago in Europe, European Commission decided that in 2035 will be no more allowed to sell
combustion cars.
petrol cars. Now they are discussing again about this. There are some doubts. This situation, another political question that we know, can complicate more the Formula E process for growth, or is part of the game?
Well, I'm not sure politics is a game, but yeah. So I'm British. So in the United Kingdom, we had the regulation or the government statement was to not sell cars, internal combustion cars, beyond 2030, and that obviously got moved back to 2035. So I think what would be helpful is clarity. And clarity means having dates that don't move around or are subject to further discussion. On the other hand, I don't think it massively affects us, because this year there's probably going to be between 17 and 20 million electric vehicles sold around the world. And the projections are that, irrespective of the subsidies and the changes politically, the projection is that will probably be 40 million by 2030. So whatever happens and whatever changes around those dates, it looks like the growth of electric vehicles for domestic road cars anyway, will continue. In the end, from a racing point of view, the fact that we race electric is one of the things that makes us unique. On the other hand, we just race cars. So the fact that the physics of the electric vehicle means it has better low-end torque, can accelerate faster, ultimately in time will probably be able to surpass any Formula One car simply because of the physics of battery electric vehicle. I think people will forget that it's a battery electric vehicle and it will just be a racing car that happens to be really, really fast on the track. So clarity would be helpful, but we're not in control of it. So I tend not to worry about things I can't control. I tend to focus more on producing really fast, great racing cars. They just happen to be electric only.
And about the racing car and also the development of the electric vehicle market, I saw that now the battery market is expanding and is getting better and better and better. For example, the Gen 4 battery is very strong, and the evolution is getting faster. And do you see in the near future maybe the liberalization of the battery for the team? Or not?
I think maybe two answers to that. So I think the limiting factor of racing electric vehicles is more the battery than the powertrain, of course, because a powertrain operates in excess of 97% efficiency in these. So it's the battery development that has to keep going. And I think the cell chemistry development in batteries, moving towards solid-state batteries, is happening so rapidly now that my guess is by Gen 5, whenever that will be, could be quicker than 4 years, who knows, but by Gen 5, the likelihood is we'll be in solid-state batteries or a far advanced version of the battery we have today. And that allows us to take significant weight out of the car. So that's a key factor in performance. Now, whether that means we open up battery development for the teams and the manufacturers is a different question, because one of the concerns and the reason we don't open it is because it's an incredibly expensive thing to do, is develop batteries. And what we don't want necessarily is to increase the cost massively for the teams in the championship, and also for the teams with the deepest pockets, with the most money, to get a significant advantage on the track, because we like the fact that we have such competitive racing. So it might be too soon to open it for Gen 5, but at some point in the future it might become part of the manufacturer.
The question is, in these two questions. The first question is, in these 12 years of competition, what is the biggest challenge that you've been able to overcome? And secondly, with all of these advances, all of these developments being made in electric vehicles, at what point do you think much of this will be able to be transferred to the new, to just normal vehicles on the street, on the road?
So I think maybe the biggest challenge was just survival, because 12 years, starting a new motorsport from scratch, and for that to become not just a new motorsport, but a new motorsport that's a world championship and has Porsche, Jaguar, Stellantis, Nissan, Yamaha, all these massive brands and world-class drivers in just 11, 12 years. So I think, and I wasn't part of that, but I think I have to chapeau to the people that fought really hard in the beginning to create something from scratch and for it to survive. And if you look back to that first generation of the car, it wasn't very fast. The battery lasted for half the race, and a lot of people wrote it off as a bit of a joke. And you look at where it is today, and it's on the verge of producing a car that's not far off a Formula One car in terms of performance, racing all over the world. So I think that's an incredible achievement. In terms of the development, a load of the current development in these cars goes directly into road cars already today. So powertrain development, so the people developing powertrains here, that powertrain learning is going directly into their production cars today, their road cars today. Software is a massive opportunity, and a lot of the efficiency software development that happens in these cars goes directly into their road cars today. And I know I tell these stories, but Jaguar tell lovely stories about transferability between their racing car and the I-Pace range of vehicles. The new Porsche Taycan has technology included within it that they develop within attack mode. So there's lots of development already finding its way there. The tyres here, developed by Hankook, is the Ion range of tyres. It's a range of tyres they use and sell for road vehicles today. So lots of that development already finds its way in. Well, so lots of questions. So one, we hope it produces more exciting racing. The racing here is pretty exciting with the Gen 3 Evo car. So we hope it produces as exciting racing, because obviously it's a much bigger car, much more powerful car. Our net zero credibility. So we under the old definition, we were net zero from day zero. The definition is changing a bit. So we have a commitment between season 5 and season 15 to reduce our underlying carbon emissions by 45%, which we're well on track to do. So even with the introduction of the Gen 4 car, and wherever we choose to race the Gen 4 car, our personal carbon emissions will be coming down, though not going the other way. The Gen 4 car itself is 100% recyclable, first time we've had that, and 20% of the car itself will be made of recycled parts. So it's a new benchmark for sustainable driving. We, of course, want to stay driving in city centres. So we want to still be around the big cities of the world. The challenge with a bigger, faster car is, in some places, that becomes more complicated. So a good example would be London. You know, the track we use in London today, for a car that's 30 centimetres longer and 600 kilowatts in the joules, it's almost impossible to race that car on that circuit. So we have to look at alternatives. Now, if we look at fixed circuits, we have to look at the right fixed circuit. So still near to a city centre, and still delivering some kind of road style layout, as opposed to just a big oval or a big circuit. So our challenge is, how do we retain our identity, because we're born as a street racing champion, as the cars get bigger and faster. But we believe we can do that, but it won't be a compromise to our commitment to sustainability. It definitely won't be. We're still committed to reduce our underlying carbon emissions.
Very anxious about Tokyo. It's not suitable for the Gen 4 car.
No, we think we can format that circuit to be suitable for the Gen 4 car. So we've simulated the Tokyo layout, the beauty of Tokyo is we have a bit more flexibility with that circuit layout to widen it in places and make other changes. So no, we're very confident if we choose to continue racing in Tokyo that we can make it work beautifully for the Gen 4 car.
So Formula E is present in the key markets, let's say, that you want to be, the manufacturers want to be. So what's your vision for the next 5 years?
Yeah.
What's the markets you want to be present on with additional races, with races for the first times, Australia, for example, Africa? What can you say us about that?
Yeah, so Tobias, the plan is that we add a race every year out to 2030. So we think the right number of races for us is about 22, something like that. We're at 16 today. So too many?
Good air miles.
Good air miles, yeah. So that's the plan. So I think the two core markets, but that's not fair. The two largest markets, if you talk to our manufacturers and our teams, consistently will come back as North America and China, because they're the biggest markets to sell to in the world. So doubling down and having multiple races in those two locations is important. We obviously have 2 races in China this year with Shanghai and Sanya. We only have 1 race in North America. So I've said it publicly, we will look at adding a second race over the next 2 years into North America. Then if you look at Central Europe, obviously we used to race in Italy. That's obviously has a strong heartland for motor racing in Italy. So we will look at whether we can reintroduce a race into Italy. Obviously, some people might say Monaco is part of France, but not everybody who's French would agree with that. So France is another core European market we look at. India, core market. We have a very strong relationship with, obviously, Tata is the owner of Jaguar. Infosys are a primary partner of ours. Mahindra have a racing team, so we have deep connections with India. We've raced there in the past. We'd love to be in India. We don't have a race in Central Africa, and it's a massive growing population, important part of the world. So we look at Central Africa. So there are, I mean, who knows exactly where we end up, because we also get lots of people appeal to us to take races there, and sometimes they're very compelling conversations for us to take races to places. But I would expect over the next few years for you to see another race in North America, 1 or 2 new races coming into Europe, and then India, potentially Central Africa coming onto our calendar. And Australia, by the way, Australia/New Zealand, a long way away. So it's a long way away, although we do go out as far as Jakarta, Indonesia now, so we get pretty close to it. It's a long way away, but again, very passionate part of the world. And if you want to be a truly global motorsport, then in time you do have to look at taking your product around the world to show everybody.
I would like to ask you how important is for you having Spain as also as a growing fan base. All this stuff that comes to Formula E when a country has more presence in
Yeah. So look, so there's no question. We can have amazing broadcast relationships in countries, do great deals, but until you take a race to the country, it's difficult to truly unlock engagement with the fan base. As I said right up front, you know, our founders are Spanish. We have a very deep connection with Spain. We've tested here since 2019. We have an office here in Valencia. It's logical that we have a race in Spain. We're super excited. We also have Cupra as a manufacturer now, working with Kiro, and we have our first for a long time, Spanish driver in Pepe Marti. It feels like all the ingredients have come together. The timing's perfect to do something. And obviously you've got Formula One moving from Barcelona to Madrid, and you know, changes happening there. So a very passionate fan base. They love their motorsport here in Spain. Early signs for us on Madrid race are very, very encouraging. So we haven't really officially opened for ticket sales yet, but we've got a lot of reserved tickets. So there's a lot of interest already. So we're excited to see what happens in Madrid. Now we've come here, I'll be very disappointed if Spain doesn't stay on our calendar for the foreseeable future.
Just for now, if we can imagine that in the future, Formula E will be all races with double header.
No, the double headers are interesting. So double headers are very efficient. So if you remember, we don't rent circuits. We grew up building circuits. So if you're spending a lot of money building a circuit in the middle of a city, it's very efficient to get a double race out of it, to get a second race out of it. But it does bring some challenges. And the challenges it brings is an emotional one for the drivers and the teams, Because, for example, in Monaco, they want to be the winner of Monaco. So when there's 2 races, there's 2 winners of Monaco. So it does bring some emotional changes because it's not typical for motorsport. But from a sustainability point of view, so from an emissions point of view, not travelling every race to a different location is a good thing for us. It's more value for money. But often, sometimes the second day is a bit more challenging than the first because a lot of fans turn up for the first race and then you want to still get the fans to the second race and that becomes a bit more complex. But I think we will continue to have some double headers, but not all double headers. No, because it's just, there are some places where it's just unnecessary to do it.
So we have 1 hour and 30 minutes to go of this test, and at the moment at half distance we have Chambers on top from Abbey Pulling, Lloyd, Marty, Noda, Chadwick, Garcia, Calderon, Jokova, Bustamante, Edgar, Powell, Shaw and Brewer out there. Omi, what are you making of this one?
Well, going quite interesting and getting close at the front, so it's looking good in terms of the front of the field, so it could be quite competitive. It will be interesting to see whether it's Chambers, whether it's Pulling, whoever tops the times, or if anyone else has something to say about that with a late and a great lap if they are to get up to our top 2.
So, just coming through once more, JT is currently editing all the press conferences, interviews from today. Right now, though, let's go back and have a listen to Alberto Longo. He talked with Pico on Thursday.
Alberto, how was your winter? Super excited, to be here on the official test. I'm really looking forward to that 6th of December. I'm going to traveling to Sao Paulo for the first race. How good is it to be back here? Because obviously last year it had to be redone. We went to Madrid very last minute, and it was incredible how we got everyone over to Madrid. But this has been the home of Formula E for over 5 years now. Yeah. So how good is it to be back in Valencia? I mean, it's fantastic, obviously, to be back here. You saw the images of Valencia, and this particular area really, really damaged last year with the floodings. We have been responsible all this year, with help. We have been helping the people here who lost absolutely everything from their home to their cars, to eventually even their lives as well. So definitely there is a lot to do. There is still a lot to do in this region, and Formula E has always been, as helpful as we can be. We are supporting quite a few initiatives here to make the life a little bit better of all these people who lost absolutely everything. But having said so, it's also so important that the region, the city is almost back to normality, and this is the proof of it. We are here doing the official test of a world championship in this fantastic city that has been always so supportive to Formula E. And looking ahead to this season, we've got a few new locations on the calendar. We're heading to Madrid for a race this year. We're going to Miami to the Hard Rock Stadium, which we did the Evo sessions. Yeah. Sanya's coming back on the calendar. What can you tell us about the new locations and returning ones for next season? Well, as you can imagine, Madrid is kind of my special thing, being obviously Spanish, and the two founders, Alejandro and myself, for the first time that we go with a race in Spain. We did a race in Valencia back in the past, but it was without public because of the COVID. So this is going to be the first race with public in Spain. Hopefully it's going to be a big success. There is a lot of media attention for the race. The first time that we have a Spanish team, a Spanish driver, and we race in Spain. So definitely is waking up a little bit the attention of about Formula E in Spain. And so that is kind of my highlight of the season personally, professionally, and I'm talking as a founder of Formula E. Obviously, the 3 new additions are massive. Hard Rock Cafe, I think it's the stadium. It's a beautiful venue for Formula E. A lot. More flexibility, more versatile, you say, than Homestead, definitely. And I think we can produce there way better racing that we have ever done in Miami, including when we race in the city center. Sanya is an absolute pleasure to be back. It's an amazing place, but more importantly, it's in the country that we really want to put a little bit of focus on, which is China. And China is the home electrification of mobility today, and definitely our intention is to be doing more and more races there in that territory together with the US. I think those are the two focus that we want to put on in the next few years.
Things flying won't be safe enough to run in Gen.
Few years.
And obviously, being British, we've got London at the end of the year, but there are still things flying up because it's looking likely that we can't return because a few corners won't be safe enough to run in Gen 4. What can you tell us about the future of a British race? We spoke to Jeff yesterday about it, and he said it's so important to have a race in the UK.
Definitely, and he said UK. I would say it's so important to have a race in London. So definitely, there is no doubt we will be racing in London. If Excel, for whatever reason, we cannot race there, we are already in talks with different options, in order to try and and replace it. It will be a pity because I believe that Excel is so much DNA of Formula E. Is exactly what we do. But unfortunately, no. Fortunately, those cars, are getting faster, bigger. And definitely, it's there are going to be some tracks that we're not going to be able to be racing there in the future with Gen 4. But that the only thing I can tell you is that we for sure will be racing in London in season in Gen 4, definitely.
Are you looking at potentially a stopgap in between? Like, I know that like Brand's been mentioned, Silverstone's been mentioned. Are they kind of on the cards just like as like a holding pattern? Then when we know that we can go back to London, that then we go straight there?
I mean, our DNA remains exactly untouched, which is basically trying to race in the streets of the biggest cities of the world. That's our target, but sometimes it's just not doable, So definitely, if being in key markets is even a bigger priority for us than the type of venue that we race at. So definitely, if we have defined London as a market that we need to be in, we will race there, no matter where. Then, if eventually we have the dream come true, would be like finding a street circuit in London, But if in the meantime we need to go to a permanent track, we will not hesitate to do that.
Is it London or bust, or are you looking at other UK cities as well? People have been saying potentially Manchester, Liverpool, other ones, or is London the one that you want more than anything?
I mean, we race in the biggest capitals of the world, and London is one of the biggest capitals of the world, maybe the biggest one. So definitely, London is a top priority for us. Doesn't mean that we are not looking into other options. No, it's true. We're looking into other options, actually, to other cities. But our preference, and this is public, so our preference is basically to be racing in London.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Alberto. I know you need to get off, so thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.
The boys are just having a go at me about saying about how the FE bar is the most unhinged stuff that you could possibly do.
That is not what I said.
Right, yeah. It's anybody's conversation. Would you like to repeat what? Yeah? No.
I was saying about, JB had 7 to 8 reasons about why a certain person did not come on the FE bar this week.
Yes.
And one of them was because she has only watched 2 Formula E races. And my response to that was, that doesn't matter because we have talked about other stuff on the FE bar this week.
A little thing called working during the times we're on air.
That does come into it, yes.
Yes, yeah. Also, no cars around the track right now, by the way, have you noticed?
Other than the safety car, which is in the pits.
That's it, yeah.
So this is the perfect time to go into this and just write that, and it's time to set. I've spelt it wrong. ! Discord, and you can join the Discord and join the FE bar waiting room if you would like to speak to us.
What's Discord?
It's I could say that it is the way that you pronounce curry, but
Right, it's curry. It's curry. What's the difference? Curry. Just because a certain person says it as carry.
You say Corey, actually.
I say curry. It's curry. 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 Curry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
we
you
have got
say
one
Corey.
car out on track. Juju Noda has headed out currently at turn 6, heading down the back straight, down to turn 7, 8, 9, and 10. Got 1 hour and 21 minutes left on this session.
Well, this is a perfect time then to bring in the interview that Jack Giamana did with Juju Noda yesterday afternoon.
Hi Juju, pleasure to meet you. So you've got your women's test on Friday. How much are you looking forward to it?
Well, very much, especially working with Jaguar TCS Racing.
Yeah. And then obviously you're working with alongside Mitch and Antonio, and you've been here all week. How important has it been to work with them and see how they operate?
Yeah, it's very, very important because it's my first time, first outing in Formula E car. So yeah, it's very important to listen to advice from them, and yeah, they are so nice and helpful.
What's the best bit of advice that Antonio or Mitch has given you so far?
A lot, because yeah, I have to learn a lot of things, and yeah, electronic car it's my past experience, so yeah, I have a lot of questions, ask them, and everything is important for me.
So they've been very helpful. So they've been perfect. So obviously you said it's your first time in Formula E. What have you learned? What have you been looking forward to? What's the biggest thing that you think you've learned so far just being here?
Well, yeah, it's very complicated for my little experience, but it's great to work with professional people. Yeah.
And then finally from me, just what would you like to achieve? Obviously when you're in the car on Friday, what do you want to achieve? What will make you happy when you leave here on Friday?
Well, I will trying to follow the team order and hopefully have some development work and giving more skill from myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So there we go then on the board with Juju Noda just out there. Alice Powell might be able to get going soon. It's a battery issue for her, so that is going to be the replacement. Should be out on the track with about an hour to go. Omi, top time from Chloe Chambers, pulling second, Lloyd third. Are we expecting Abby pulling to claw back?
Absolutely. She'll want that push, and she'll want to end it on a high and try beat that 1 minute 22.767 as well.
Shut up, just immediately. I knew where you, okay. Do you know, I don't like that meme. I think it's ridiculous. But still, I'm going back to the good old-fashioned press conferences. They never let us down. Right, let's go down to Thursday's press conference then. On the other side, we'll hear as well from Matt Preston and Tommaso Volpe before heading back into today's press conference and the drivers' interviews of who's out there on the circuit now. Let's go back over to the press conference.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's driver press conference. We'll be speaking with some team principals shortly after. But first, please welcome in front of us from left to right, we have Felipe Drogovic with Andretti Formula E team, Nick Cassidy now with Citroën Racing, and Mitch Evans with Jaguar TCS Racing. And Nick, I'll start with you. New surroundings for you, a fresh start with Citroën. How have you been settling in so far?
Yeah, it's good to see everyone firstly, and it's good to be back. It's been a really nice start with Citroën Racing. Yeah, it's been a busy off season. It doesn't really feel like the first test anymore. We've been together a lot, working very, very hard, and yeah, trying to get ready for the first race.
What's been the biggest thing that you've had to get used to so far?
Learning French.
And how's that going?
Oui.
Perfect. You ended last season in incredible form, 4 wins from the last 6 races to end the season second. How confident are you that you can bring that form across with all of the change and everything, including learning French, that you're having to get used to alongside that?
You know, I think looking at last season, there was definitely some strange races and a bit of fortune in there as well. But you know, I try to bring that confidence and that momentum. Of course, I think it's been a big off season in terms of development. You know, together with the guys at Citroën. From where they were and what they wanted to do and things that I'd kind of learned and how to make a car around me as well. And, you know, I feel like we've made good progress. It's hard to say, it's only Valencia, but seem to be kind of thereabouts. Each day kind of gets more comfortable, I would say. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the guys at the front of last year in terms of teams, you look at Mahindra, Jag, etc., will be very strong, so it'll be tough.
Thank you very much, Nick. Before I move on, it's kind of a dual question for both of you. Obviously, we know you're good friends. We know you've spent an incredible amount of time together. Do you miss each other being in the same team? You still hanging out together away from the track?
I feel like we're speaking to each other more now.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
All the same, business
All
as
the
usual.
same.
Obviously, a lot of change actually around you, Mitch. You've got 2 new drivers in the team. You've got a new team principal to work with. How easy is it for you, as the kind of one constant for the last few seasons with Jaguar, to kind of put all the distraction aside to go into this final season of Gen 3?
I mean, not much changes, to be honest. I've had quite a few teammates over my stint at Jaguar, so that's normal. I guess the big change is obviously not having James around. But Ian's, his transition's been very seamless. He's been around here for a long time, so looking forward to working with him, and obviously with Antonio. So yeah, it's all been pretty easy, and as I said, seamless between both them. Antonio's got so much experience in this category. He's jumped between teams before, so he kind of knows what to do. But obviously, the way that we operate, the DNA of our car is very different to what he's been used to. So that takes a bit of time to transition. But apart from that, it's all, yeah, at times it kind of feels like he's been there longer than what he has. So but looking forward to working with him and also Ian this year.
Great. You've been in and around the title fight for many seasons now, but it's not quite worked out for you. What are you doing differently in terms of your approach to maybe change things up to get that edge and finally get your hands on that gold?
Not a lot, to be honest. Maybe I should be changing things, but look, I've been at the front of the category for a long time, so I think I'm doing a lot of things right. But obviously, yeah, I've missed out on the big one a few times, but that can come down to circumstances, a bit of luck here and there as well. So the main thing is that you're in the fight, and then you kind of let the motorsport gods take care of the rest, I guess. But obviously last year we weren't in the fight at all. So yeah, it's a bit of a reset from last year to get ourselves back into contention. So hopefully we can do that. I think it's going to be very, very tough because there's a lot of teams that are competitive now, especially second year of the same car. Everyone's refining things. So, but yeah, approach stays the same. Just try and go as fast as possible and keep trying to improve the car. And then hopefully come London, it all looks pretty good.
Thank you very much, Mitch. Felipe, welcome to the Formula E World Championship as a full-time driver. We've seen you compete before. We've seen you at rookie tests before. What was it about this opportunity with Andretti that made you jump in with both feet?
Yeah, so, well, first of all, thank you very much. Happy to be here. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a long time coming to actually join the championship. Since 2023, I've been, driving in the rookie test and had some contacts with some teams. Actually, I did speak with Andretti back then, but I didn't feel like it was the right time to actually, pull the trigger and make a move. But yeah, I think it just kind of all came together in the right time. I had some talks already with Roger, and then the opportunity to drive in Berlin came together as well, and I did that, and it was probably what made me actually feel like, okay, this is pretty cool, I want to do that. Also because, I was basically 2 years, or almost 3 years without racing in a full-time championship, which is not nice in one point of view, and yeah, I just really miss that feeling, and yeah, I feel like I'm getting that feeling back again. I'm, just happy to be here.
How special will it be for you after these years where you haven't been competing regularly to make your full-time debut in your home country come Sao Paulo in a few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be awesome, to be fair. It's something that I am really looking forward to it. It's gonna be actually my first time in an international racing in Brazil, and yeah, first thing I knew was actually my aunt. She bought tickets for my whole family, so they're all gonna be in the grandstand. So yeah, it's gonna be quite cool. They'll be there, so yeah, I'm really happy about it. I just wish it wasn't the first race, so I had a little bit more experience to actually put on a good show. But at the end of the day, it's just getting there, trying to enjoy it as much as I can. I think there'll be a lot of people cheering there, so yeah, really happy about it. Yeah, to be fair, I don't have a real reason why South American guys are not really looking too much forward into Formula E, as it's a world championship, so it should be put up there with high standards championships. So I don't know. Obviously, when you grow up, there is always the dream of Formula One in any driver. I would say I think anyone who's been in this grid always had the dream to be in Formula One. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things to put in consideration. When you're from South America, but anywhere apart from Europe, I would say you need to change your whole life to go to Europe and try to build up a career there and build a life there as well. So you get even more focused on that, and normally that focus is, I would say, Formula One. But once you get, you don't get to that level, or you don't achieve that, I think drivers start looking into championships like this. Are different than probably drivers that grew up in Europe, which is, they have more options around them all the time, and they grow up probably around more options. So that's the only reason I can think about it. But there's I can only know a precise answer if I'm born again and try it again. But yeah, and on the F1 side, there's nothing at the moment. I'm fully focused on this. I don't know how it's gonna pan out next year, if I'll be around that paddock or not. I need to wait till that championship is also finished and see if it makes sense for me or not. At the moment, to be fair, I'm fully focused on this, and yeah, just trying to enjoy this side.
Thank you very much. That's all we have time for. Thank you to our drivers, and if you stay seated, our team principals will be along shortly.
I want to say a massive thank you to Nikki, who's just put €50 as a donation into the YouTube live chat. That is massively, massively appreciated. Says, thanks Jack and Pico for the coverage, and also thank you to the guys from JB Motorsports. It has been an absolute pleasure. Nikki, thank you so much. We're so glad you've enjoyed the coverage this week, and we've enjoyed having you in the chat room. That's amazing. JT, it's been a hell of a week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And now the clock on the screen that you see is the countdown until, of course, the checkered flag, as we know, but the countdown into the end of testing here in Valencia. It's Chambers still on top of 122.767. Abby pulling behind 64 thousandths behind with 122.831, and Lloyd 123.676. It is 3 drivers out on track. Juju Noda, Edgar and Lloyd. And I'm probably the only person in this commentary box who can stay serious while saying those two numbers. Omi.
122.767. What's that? Omi.
Hi.
Just hi. Straight away.
What would you like me to say?
Well, you're actually young enough to know what this is all about. What actually is it? Put me out of my misery. Is this some sort of TikTok meme thing that's come through?
Well, you didn't hire me here to talk about those TikTok things, so I'll do that another day when you actually want me to do that. but
are you
I
doing
signed
now?
up to do some Formula E commentary. Thank you very much. So, right, okay. Yeah, interesting lap times at the front of the field, as JT mentioned. But in terms of Chloe Chambers, as I have a middle finger stuck up at me through the camera, which is very, very nice. But anyway, Chloe Chambers can no longer contend for the... What is this? Okay, I'm gonna take a picture on my phone now of this ridiculous guy doing some very inappropriate stuff at me. But I'll continue talking. I'll continue talking as I do that as well. So, yeah, what I was trying to say, Chloe Chambers not able to contend for the F1 Academy title. She's 52 points away as well. So, only 2 drivers remain in the fight for that as well. And, yes, so it means that Chloe Chambers, it's not very clear where she could go after her after F1 Academy. But Formula E could definitely be a good option if she can get some more experience and if she can try find a drive. But she's looking quick and she's definitely making a point, I think, with her performance today.
Pico's back with us as we tick down to an hour to go. Pico, Nikki, €50 donation as well. Appreciate that, as we've mentioned. But you boys have done an amazing job over there in Valencia. How are you this afternoon? He hasn't unmuted, so we'll wait for him in a minute.
Shocker. Only the 2 cars, as I say, that third car of Pulley heads back out on circuit. And what I will say is remember to turn your mic on as Edgar goes on full power and gets ready to start a full power lap. Chambers currently exiting the pit lane in towards turn 1 as we are nearly into the final hour of testing of this session and the testing week.
So, Pico, hello, we can hear you now. How you doing? Well, he's got one step further. He's unmuted, but I don't think he's switched his microphone on. Unless he hasn't charged it. Oh, well, we're getting there now. We're nearly getting there. So, we've got 5 cars out on the track, 8 in the pit lane, and 1 stopped with Alice Powell, as things currently stand. But still, they are closing back through with the time in. We'll hear shortly from the team's press conference from yesterday, before then going over to today's press conferences, and then filling in the remainder of the time with the women's press conferences, and also hearing from Abby Pulling, Puntamante, Chambers, Lloyd, and Powell, and again from Juju Noda coming through as they will come into the action as well. Omi, you're getting me in trouble with the missus.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you guys some commentary on this, and all I can see on the side is someone doing some inappropriate actions. So, yeah, well, we'll not talk further about that. I guess we can continue on with this session, because that's what we're here to do, Mr. Birch, as well. Chambers, Pulling, and Lloyd, the top 3 on the timing board, just over an hour to go.
I don't know what you're on about. Pico, hello. Can you hear me? Nope. I think someone's cut Pico's.
I don't think he wants to talk to you after what you've been doing in here anyway.
He's probably thinking, what on earth's going on? They've lost their mind after an hour to go. Chambers on top from Pulling, Lloyd, Calderon, Chadwick, Marty, Noda, Garcia, Jakova, Edgar, Bustamante, Powell, Shaw, and Brewer on the field as they come through. I was going to make a dark joke. Well, you could do. I was thinking the same as they come into it. Pico, can you hear us? I think he's forgot to put his sun cream on and he's evaporated. All that's left that you can just, if you're quiet, you can listen. You can hear the smouldering. So
yeah,
I tell you what, we'll wait to see when he gets back. And let's go down to the press conference.
Please welcome our team principals in front of us. From left to right, we have Frederick Bertrand from Mahindra Racing, Tommaso Volpe from Nissan Formula E, and Russell O'Hagan from Cupra Kiro. Tommaso, we will start with you. You've not got a customer team this year. It's just you going it alone. How will that change in the way you collect data and things behind the scenes?
I was hoping that this press conference I had the team principal of Jaguar here, close to me, to have this exact conversation. No, of course, this we cannot deny is an handicap for the manufacturer championship. Is quite obvious, and also we think that this is bad news for the championship in general, having lost McLaren as a team. They deserve to be in the championship as an organization. They won 2 championships before, so they were all very talented engineers. But hey ho, there are other 2 championships to win, so we haven't changed our objective for the other 2 rankings.
Just on that, before Eddie translates, do you expect that there will be another customer team in future?
We will have in Gen 4 for sure, also because looking at the manufacturers currently committed, very likely you will have at least 1 customer team per manufacturer.
Thank you. I don't think we need to talk again about the season that Oliver Rowland had last year. Norman had a more troubling, difficult season, but you've decided to stick with the same driver lineup going into this final year of Gen 3. What was your thinking behind that? Was it maybe consistency?
Well, definitely consistency was one thing, but also what we could see behind the scenes. Of course, it definitely didn't have a good season, to say the least, but we thought that it could deliver much better in the second season with the same car, same package, same team, which is new to him in the sport. So we think that with a longer stint with the same organization, he will definitely deliver. And today he said the best time. Okay, it's only testing, but it's definitely encouraging.
Yeah, very positive. Thank you, Tommaso. Russell, congratulations on your new role. You are now the team principal of Cupra Kiro. Last season, obviously, was a season of huge landmarks. You got the first podium in Tokyo, then the first win wasn't far behind in Jakarta. What are you aiming to tick off this year?
First of all, thank you. More of the same, I suppose, is the honest answer. I think the biggest difference from last year to this year is our approach about how we build a complete championship season. I think last year we proved what the team is capable of on a good day, and really the target that I'm setting with the team now is proving what we can do on a bad day. Keep making sure that our average performance is higher, that we're consistent the way we approach the championship. Yeah, and really taking ourselves from that kind of one-off race contender into how we build a whole season. So a lot to do, and building on the small areas for improvement, reducing mistakes, expecting a lot from the team and the drivers.
You've retained the services of the Enigma, Dan Ticktum, but alongside him you have a new face, Pepe Mate. Obviously coming in incredibly late, the last driver to be announced with a lot to learn. I'm just interested to get an insight into what kind of guy he's been so far while he's been working with the team, and what expectations you've set for him this season.
I think all of you that have met him so far, he's smart, articulate, funny, relaxed. Him and Dan have decided to become friends already. For those of you that saw the filming on track yesterday where they were drifting, the 2 of them had their radios linked, and for the last 30 seconds was just the 2 of them giggling like schoolboys, really. So I think from a personality side, he's fitted in incredibly quickly with the team. The working dynamic's been really easy. We started to see yesterday morning his performance has kind of started exceeding a little bit what we were expecting for the first week. I think from memory, the early part of yesterday morning, he was in the top 3 in sort of 300 push laps. From what I've seen this morning, again, the performance was very good. So I think realistically, I think we're going to see good one-lap performance almost from the start of the season if he kind of carries on the trajectory that he's on now. I think the biggest thing is that we all understand being a rookie in Formula E is more difficult than any other series. So our message to Pepe is we'll be patient with you. That's the one thing. I think getting the drivers to be patient with themselves is probably the harder task. Obviously, they're out there and wanting to do their best. I think softly internally, we kind of expect, particularly in the way that he can read and deploy races, will probably change in Jeddah, really. Having the first double header where the driver gets to sleep on it overnight, sort of rinse and repeat. I think that's probably the first mark where we'll kind of look for the race performances to take a step forward, but I think ultimate pace, from what we've seen already, is going to be there and thereabouts from the start, which is really good.
And importantly, he's getting involved in the TikToks straight away.
Straight on the TikToks, yeah.
Thank you very much, Russell. Fred, it's your turn. I'll move on to you. A very good season for you and the team at Mahindra last year. Nick told us yesterday in the press conference that that's now a benchmark for what you will achieve this season. I'm just interested to know what you're intending on achieving this season.
I think he said everything, so I have nothing to add. No.
Okay, that's the no.
No, the season is for sure very exciting, because when you look at the journey, we started season 9, 10 quite challenging, to say the least, and then 11 was the first moment we discovered the car, and we didn't know where we could be with that car. So definitely a good, not surprise, but at least a good result. And building up all along the season 11, we saw that we were slowly able to deliver good racing for the two drivers, get on podiums. We still didn't get what Russell manages to get on the top of the podium, but definitely second P2, P2 we managed. So that's part of the goals for I would say season 12 is how can we make sure that we keep improving, capitalizing on what we did, make sure that we have a good understanding of what we learned, and we develop a good strategy around that. We know that in Formula E, performance is one thing, but the quality of the execution is very important. And finally, you need a bit of luck on track, because racing is sometimes a bit chaotic. So when you get all at the same time, then you finish where you want, but sometimes it's not exactly the case. So we need to make sure that we put everything on our side. Hearing the national anthem of India is definitely a target, and finishing again in the top 5 would be good. That was the target last year. We did a little bit better, so let's try to keep on the same trend, target top 5 and do a little bit better.
Perfect. We've seen your drivers this week setting good times and being in and around the top of the leaderboards, but how much can we read into these times with testing? Do you feel that all the teams are giving it anywhere close to 100% at the moment? Are there games going on?
I think they all sandbag. I think in general, what is important here is to make sure that we are as ready as we can, and that we control that what we have developed in the intermediate part of the championship was productive and good. So on our side, we feel happy with what has been done, and we feel happy that it comes to reality. Now, what the others are doing, I have no idea, to be honest. I just concentrate on what we are doing and make sure that we are doing things properly. What is never bad is to give maximum confidence to the drivers. We managed to keep the same lineup, managed to keep the same team around the drivers. That created a good environment for their confidence level. So let's make sure that now we give them the best car so that they can deliver the best driving, and hopefully we will see where we go.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you very much for answering our questions. And thank you very much to Eddie for translating this so beautifully. I think everyone should go and give him a pat on the back, or maybe a round of applause as he translates what I've just said.
Thank you. Thank you.
And joining us trackside now is Jack Pickering. Pico, welcome, my friend. We're into the last hour. How's it going?
We're almost there. The finish line is in sight, guys. It's been a very long week, and honestly, it's been super fun. And the fact that we've been able to do this is so incredible. And so, yeah, but yeah, we've still got one more hour of car on circuit before everything gets packed up. And they're going from here straight to Sao Paulo. Oof. So all the cars that are running right now, they're heading straight off after this, and that's the reason why we don't have a full batch of 22 out today. A lot of the team, some of the teams are running 2 cars, but I think a lot of teams just wanted to pack everything, start packing everything up, and then everything gets shipped off to Sao Paulo literally this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully Vision's broken up a little bit to come into it. Okay, we are good now. There's been a signal lagging from the circuit again to come into it. But Pico, car's going to fly straight over to Sao Paulo, as we know. But what's happened to Alice Powell's car? You were reporting earlier on when it came back in. What's the latest?
Well, as I finished my live to you earlier on, I saw Bryony from Envision, who's the PR person, and so I went over and heckled her and asked about what happened. And yeah, it seems to be a battery issue, which they hope would be a quick fix. But as far as I'm aware, she hasn't been back out again. So unfortunately for the Envision team, yeah, they are one car down, and that's the end of running. We are under an hour to go, so it's going to be. I reckon if they can get it going, they might just do a one lap kind of like shakedown, and then that'll be it. Just to make sure that it is all right heading to Sao Paulo, because yeah, you said it heads straight from here to Brazil.
So, anybody from this week that you think is a hot going into it? Any driver thinking, yeah, we're going to be good for here?
Well, I can tell you, I've written my bold predictions. They
Have
are
you
in the
now?
envelope, along with Toby, Nick, and a few others. I won't be revealing them on air. You'll have to find out next August, but which is a bit of a teaser and a half. But that's the joy of this little game that we started last year. And but yeah, I genuinely think Nissan looks strong, Mahindra looks strong. Jaguar had an amazing end to last year, even though they didn't have the greatest of tests. Which brings me on to something that I did kind of hear. It's not confirmed. I can't say that it is or isn't, but I've heard that some teams may have been sandbagging their performances, running potentially 30, 40 kilos overweight.
Wow.
Now, if you look at the times from the test this week, you'll see that the likes of Jaguar are Stellantis are not there or thereabouts. We're sixth, even though Taylor Barnard was third running. But and the thing is, we see sandbagging all the time in Formula One, but sandbagging in Formula One's a lot easier because what you do is you just run high fuel loads, and it's a lot easier to
massively.
It's a lot easier to sandbag, whereas you don't have the high fuel loads in Formula E to be able to sandbag that bit easier. So they've been putting ballast onto a car to try and sandbag, which I find incredibly interesting because like the times looked unbelievably close. With the exception of Joel Eriksson, they were within 6 tenths of each other, and Joel was another 2.5 tenths behind. But yeah, it's genuinely, it staggers me the fact that we've got to the point where people are sandbagging in Formula E when Formula E testing, well, I've said it all week, testing means nothing. Yes,
Sadly,
it's
yeah.
nice it's basically an elongated shakedown. You can't tell where anyone is because because the series is so unbelievably close.
Formula E is one of the closest seasons that you get, and even in this session, we've got Abby putting 64 thousandths off, Bustamante 7 tenths off. The top 4 separated by less than a second, and some of these people are having their first ever run in the cars. It is incredible how close you can get in a Formula E car these days. Who's your? I don't suppose you can answer. Who do you think is going to win in Sao Paulo, race 1 of the year?
Sao Paulo, I mean, we've seen Jaguar do well in the past. They've won 2 out of the 3 races that we've been to Sao Paulo. The other one was Sam Bird for McLaren. So yeah, the other 2 ones was Mitch in the Jaguar. So you'd say Jaguar could do well. Nissan were on course to win that race last year until they had penalties for a problem whilst pulling away off the line. So they looked really close, but yeah, I mean, like Mahindra have been very quick this weekend. It's going to be an interesting one, but if I were to gun to my head, I'd say Jaguar because they have good form around that circuit.
Jaguar, I will write that down. Pico Jaguar. I've written that down, Pico. Let's see if that stays
Lovely.
true. Okay, Pico, we'll catch up with you in around about half an hour's time, okay, my friend?
Okay, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Go Patrol. Right now, let's check in with today's press conference from the drivers and see what they had to say on the press conference and on the floor.
Thank you for attending our final drivers press conference this week here at Valencia for the pre-season testing ahead of season 12 of the FIA Formula E World Championship. Our drivers are in front of us from left to right: Dan Tickton from Cupra Kiro, Sebastien Buemi from Envision Racing, and Zane Maloney from Lola Yamaha Apt Formula E team. Sebastien, I'll start with you. You were back on the top step for the first time in quite a few years. It was a high. There were a few more tricky situations for you in the team.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it was always nice to finally be back on the top step. We had 3 podiums, Tokyo P4, so I think overall was a better season than season 10, clearly. But there were a few races where we were very slow, so, you know, at the end, I think it was a positive season, but if you want to challenge for the top 3 in the championship, you've got to have that consistency over most of the races. And you know, Jeddah, we had a really bad weekend, or Shanghai, so obviously those tracks are kind of different to the rest of Formula E where we were strong, like, you know, Tokyo or London or Monaco, which are smaller, tighter tracks. But we've been trying to analyze that, and hopefully this year we'll have more pace on those tracks. But yeah, we need the consistency if you want to be able to challenge for top positions in the championship.
When it comes to this week of testing, how do you look back on what you've managed to achieve, and maybe give us an insight into what you've been looking into to get the most out of this car in the final season of this generation of car?
Yeah, I think we were P9 in the end. But just a tenth and a half of the fastest lap, so it's very, very tight, as it is usually, you know, here. But we also know that it's really one of the worst track for us. You know, over the last 3 years, we've known that. So somehow, considering it's a tough circuit for us, I think we've done well, and we've been trying to focus a lot on qualifying since last year, because that was one of the weaknesses we've had. We were never really able to do good qualifying, so then you start at the back and you make your life, in most of the cases, a lot more difficult. So we've been trying to focus, feeling that we did improve a bit the consistency, you know, because at the end of the day, you've got to be able to put that lap together, and it was difficult last year, so I think it's a bit better now. But yeah, we'll see if it works once we get into Sao Paulo.
As we look further ahead, you've recently signed a new deal with the team, and we have Gen 4 coming up. You're one of 2 now original drivers from that very first Formula E race that will be looking ahead going into the 4th generation. Just how excited are you for the advances that we've been teased with for Gen 4, and how far has it come from that first race in Beijing?
Yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, it's been a massive improvement, and it's been kind of nice to be part of it from the beginning and see, you know, the season 1 where we had to swap cars and we had very little power to what we've got now. Of course, you know, I've not been a big fan of this generation. I've been struggling very much, you know, with those tires and the general way you have to drive that car. And yeah, from what I know, this Gen 4 should be a lot better. So I mean, it should be a lot easier for me, let's say. So I'm still trying to adapt, and I'm trying to do my best. And obviously, from time to time, I do manage to do a good job, but it's very counter-natural for me. So I'm really looking forward to testing the Gen 4 and see, you know, how it feels. But it's been great to be part of the story from the beginning, see the evolution, and yeah, can't wait to see the future.
Well, we all look forward to it continuing. Thank you very much. Dan, I'll move on to you. May I be the first person to say resplendent mullet? Good luck translating.
I'm trying. Yeah, you always try and make it difficult for the translators, I've noticed.
I've been asking him to thank himself in the last few ones. But obviously, you know, we see you looking sharp. We've seen you over the summer. Dare I ask what you've been up to in the summer? We know other drivers go racing, and you've been...
I've been planning on launching a TV show, actually. It's something... Top Gear presenter. So it's something I've wanted to do for a while. I feel like now the time is right. I feel like, without going into too much detail, I think people are starting to respect and appreciate authenticity a bit more. We've gone through quite a woke period in the last decade or so. I think people are getting a bit fed up with it. So I'm basically going to go and try and make something with a similar flavour that Top Gear had. I've got two very close friends I'm going to go and do it with. And I'm filming a pilot in South Africa next week. So yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Very, very busy. Appreciate that. Well, we look forward to seeing that, but matters on the track. Obviously, how do you look back at last season? We know that over the last few years you've been quite frustrated with maybe not having the package that will give you these podiums and results. And obviously we saw what can happen when you start to make progress with a podium and then that first race win.
I mean, yeah, the first few years were highly depressing, as I've said many times. You know, all the political stuff that was going on with my sort of positioning in the F1 ladder and all that stuff. It was a very tough few years mentally to deal with that, and then to come and race at the back of Formula E. That, yeah, it was difficult, to be honest, and thought about giving up many times. I'm glad I didn't. I think I would have missed racing if I had. And yeah, I mean, very, very proud of what the team and the new investors have achieved in quite a short time. You know, we went from the smallest outfit, didn't have very long to learn the new car, and you know, as I've always said, we've got some talented people there who have managed to wrap their head around it pretty quickly. I certainly wasn't on the ball at the start of last season either with the car. It was very different to what I was used to. But yeah, quite quickly got used to it, and yeah, the team made some good progress. And yeah, we weren't very consistent. There was times where we should have picked up more points than we did. Like Monaco weekend, I was very fast. I should have picked up more points there, and obviously a bit of mistake from the team side with the setting, and I'm sure. So won't bring that up. But yeah, I think, yeah, well, whatever. I think going into this year, like I say, I think we have a much broader and a better understanding of how to set this car up consistently from track to track. So, and we've had some good updates from software side, even for this test in this season. So yeah, looking forward to it.
How are you personally feeling about what you've achieved in this week of testing?
It was pretty diabolical on the first day, if I'm honest. We sort of have a philosophy for most tracks. I can't obviously go into too much detail, but it basically wasn't working at all for here. But the track and the track temp and the tyres have been incredibly sensitive over the last few days. So it's been quite hard to back-to-back things. It sort of changes from lap to lap, session to session quite a lot. Compounded with the fact this isn't a particularly relevant track for us. I also hate it, may I add. But other than that, it's been good. Yeah, we've learned some good trends. We've got some good data. And like I said, there's some stuff on the software side that we needed to sign off and develop. And it's all gone very, very smoothly. And yeah, it's been good. No complaints, really.
You obviously have a new teammate this year as well with Pepe Marte. We've seen you already sharing. I think, were you doing some drifting out there ever so slightly? There was a hit from Russell yesterday.
Yeah, well, I'm probably not the greatest influence there.
Right.
Did have Gary on the radio that said at one point saying, please don't blow up the powertrain. So, but yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah. So yeah, he was trying to sort of copy me a bit, and yeah, I'm sure we got some good content, yeah.
Yeah, good. But obviously he's come in at a late stage, and
yep.
There will be a lot of reliance on you to maybe give him some tips, give him some pointers.
Of course,
I'm sure he'll be looking at your data. You know, what kind of relationship are you hoping to have with him this season?
I haven't known him. I only met him once outside of this, but he's a pretty switched on kid. It's quite difficult to come off the F1 ladder, you know, as that being your dream. And I think he's very enthusiastic about learning about the car, and he seems to have a good attitude and wants to learn. And yeah, he's a good kid, and he's got a bit of a personality as well. So I'm sure there'll be some good content on that side. Yeah, he's a good kid, and he's fast as well. He's adapted to the car pretty well, and yeah, so positive.
Okay, we look forward to seeing that relationship blossom. Thank you, Dan. Zane, move on to you. Obviously, a challenging season for your rookie year last year. What would you say is the biggest thing that you've learned that you can maybe bring into this season, having overcome?
Yeah, it was tough, of course. I mean, coming in with a new team, new manufacturer, we knew it would be tough coming into it. I think even this year coming is not going to be where we want to be. I think some rounds in qualifying we were able to be there or thereabouts. on 300, especially Lucas. He got in the duels, I think, a couple of times. But when it came to the race and putting together a weekend, just in terms of software and controls and stuff, we're still a bit behind where we want to be. But I mean, the team have come a long way from last year. Last year we didn't know if we were going to finish the first race, and one car didn't. Whereas now we had no reliability problems this week, and the pace is much better as well. So yeah, it's a learning year last year, and this year will be another one for me and the team. And then hopefully, I mean, the goal and the plan is to be ready from my side when the car is.
The elephant in the room is you're still waiting to score your first points. Now, we spoke to Mark Preston yesterday, and he said that he's been looking at the data. He's been really encouraged by what he's seen this week, and he doesn't think it's far away. How much of that is a kind of monkey on your back that you want to get rid of?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I don't think any racing driver's goal is to score a point in any championship. So obviously last year, many times they were there, but then either a reliability problem or I think it was they were there. And yeah, my goal is not to score a point or two in Formula E in general. And we're in a place where we have to do everything perfect to score points. So that's obviously the goal, is to do everything to the best of our ability with what we have next year, and hopefully make a bit of a step forward and be in the points more often. But yeah, I mean, when I score my first point, it doesn't really bother me, to be honest.
There won't be a mad celebration and no shirts off and down the pit lane, no. Gen 4 as well, I'd love to get your thoughts on that. I would love to ask Lucas, but we only have 2 minutes, and I'm sure Lucas will go into an incredibly long answer. But from what you've seen, what you've seen maybe that we haven't seen as the public, what are your thoughts on what's next?
It's looking positive. I mean, of course, coming from F3, F2, you're driving quick cars with a lot of downforce, and then coming to Formula E now, it's a completely different world in a positive way as well. I mean, you're really having to work on a qualifying lap in a race anytime you go on track. I think obviously going towards Gen 4 is going towards a bit more grip. Like obviously us drivers, the quicker we go, the better we feel and the more fun we have. So as Sebastien said, I mean, the tires are a very difficult thing to get your head around in Formula E, and I think Gen 4 will be going closer to what I think us drivers are all used to before we come to Formula E. So looking forward to it. I mean, obviously both eyes are on next year to perform well, and then I'm sure that at some point throughout the year we'll be putting our focus over to Gen 4.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Zane. We have time for a couple of questions. If you'd like to ask any of the drivers a question, please raise your hand. We'll go with you first. There you go.
Thank you. With regards to the Gen 4 car, how do you expect that your driving styles are going to change with wider, longer, four-wheel traction at all times, single seaters now from next year?
I think the way I describe this car, I think it's, if you're a half decent driver and you set the car up well, you'll probably be there or thereabouts. But to find the last little bit is quite tough. I think I like to refer to it as a skill gap. You know, you make the car faster and harder to drive, like it sorts the men from the boys, basically. So I'm hoping to see a bit more of a skill gap where the driver can make more difference, and I think that will happen. I think it's more or less double the power. We're obviously talking kilowatts here, but I think most people understand horsepower a bit better. It's like over 800 horsepower all the time, obviously. So yeah, I think it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all we have time for now. Thank you to our drivers. Thank you for your question there. And if you stay seated, we will have some of the drivers from our women's test joining us shortly.
And that's where we're going to go straight away because we're limited on time. We're going to join the women's session and their press conference that took place over the lunch break. But JT, it's not downloaded yet, so we can't actually do that yet. But JT, as you are going to remind us, at the moment he's on mute, if you are seeing some lag, that's not from our side, that is from Formula E side. But Omi, as things stand, 2 cars out on the track, 30 minutes to go of the test week, and it's Chloe Chambers on top.
Yep, exactly the case. At the moment in time, so we are sprinting our way all the way to the end of the Formula E test week. And what a long week it has been. But we finally reached nearly the end as well. But still some critical running for the female drivers to be had. And I wonder whether we're going to see any disruptions at the top of the field. Really looks like it's either going to be Chambers or Pulling. Chambers right now who's top, but Pulling seems like the only other driver at the moment who could displace if she wants to go for a bit of a glory lap at the end to end this test session.
Okay, let's check in then with the women's press conference that took place during the lunch break.
Well, sorry to interrupt the conversation here, but I know you're all buzzing because you've just got out of the car. But please welcome our drivers from the women's test. From left to right, we have Jamie Chadwick from Jaguar TCS Racing, Abby Pulling from Nissan Formula E team, Ella Lloyd with Envision Racing, Marta Garcia with Lola Yamaha Apt Formula E team, and Lindsay Brewer with DS Penske. Jamie, I'll start with you. You've been around Formula E for a very long time and represented many different tests. How was it out there with the latest iteration of the car, which I know you enjoyed driving last time out?
Yeah, it's always nice. Yeah, lots of laps, which is always a good thing. Yeah, it feels now, because, I mean, it's second women's test, but obviously I've done a few more tests. It feels like it's kind of normal service in a way, which is nice. It feels familiar. Really enjoy working with the Jaguar team. Yeah, it's all good. All going well, the sun's shining, no complaints.
With the team knowing that you know the car quite well, maybe they can give you sort of different challenges to some drivers who are maybe trying the car for the first time. What were you and the team working on this morning, and what were you planning on working on this afternoon?
A lot of system stuff. So it's the unique thing of Formula E is you've got the sort of mechanical element of the car, but you've also got a huge amount of systems. Like even the last time I drove to now, the team have sort of moved on a lot. So it's like catching up on that, and then they have a job list as much as like I have my own sort of wanting to get up to speed. So yeah, kind of working through that. It was really nice. Antonio and Mitch earlier in the day kind of gave a lot of their feedback on what they've sort of been working on in the week. So it's kind of like I'm up to speed a little bit, but still kind of trying to process everything that they've done over the last few months. But it's always very impressive. These cars are so technical that it's kind of like my engineer that I don't have in my brain trying to work overtime.
As much as you're not out there racing today, it must be nice to also be on track with people you've raced against before and new people who you maybe want to compare yourself to. Yeah,
I mean, you try not to look at the times too much in these sessions, but I remember looking up and I saw it was Alice, Abby and me like all together, and I was like, oh God, that's like old times. And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, like the initial emotion that came back, but still it's very nice. And it's great that there's so many more opportunities, hopefully not just this test, hopefully for everyone, the rookie tests and beyond that, because it does make a big difference.
Absolutely. On that, you do dedicate a lot of your time to mentoring younger female drivers with your karting series. Obviously now we have the Formula E women's test, we have F1 Academy. Just in the time it's been since you were breaking through and becoming a racing driver, how different is it now because of these opportunities?
Yeah, massively. I think it's now there's a lot of opportunity sort of once you kind of get out of karting and start to progress through. And I think if you've got talent and ability, I think that's going to get rewarded now, which is really exciting. But it's that kind of grassroots initial sort of phase that I think we can still always improve. I had Abby come down to one of the kart races and speak to the girls as well. And I think they're so inspired by what a lot of the female drivers are able to do as a result of platforms like this that I think it's only going to improve, but it's trying to get more and more young girls started, and yeah, something that I'm excited about.
Season, you've been competing in the GB3 Championship, having won F1 Academy last year, which was an incredible achievement. And obviously, you topped the timings last year when we were in Madrid. How are you feeling about your times so far this morning? And I mean, do you want to end the day top again? Because I know you're competitive.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're all here. We're all competitive and we all want to be fast. But at the end of the day, we're all here for our respected teams. And yeah, we did a lot specifically for some practice for the future. We've been doing a lot of conso stuff, so like race run-esque things to get the technique right, to be able to regenerate that energy back. It's a very specific technique, as all of us have probably done on the simulator and tried to get used to. So yeah, trying to get up to pace in that mode, if you want to call it. But yeah, we didn't plan to do as much performance this morning, but we seem to be a bit behind on the 350s, so we added a few more to the plan, I'm not going to lie, which was, yeah, really good fun to do a few more push this morning than I expected. But yeah, it's really hard work out there for sure. It's a physical track, and yeah, I'm excited to get going again and work on some areas this afternoon. I mean, I feel like it's a car where you always feel like, oh, I've messed up that corner. I mean, maybe it's just me, maybe I just keep making mistakes, but every time I've like finished a push lap, I'm like, oh man, like I completely missed that one corner, and it's putting it all together in this car, I think, is the hardest part, to be honest.
You're one of the drivers that does have an ongoing relationship, obviously being in the Nissan family for a little while here. These cars aren't simple to just jump in and drive. There must be a massive load of data and things going through your head while you're driving. Can you just give us a sort of idea as people who don't drive race cars, just what the most sort of challenging thing to manage is while you're actually trying to drive the car? Because we know that these are practically computers that you're trying to master while driving. Yeah,
I mean, there's so many different procedures in this car, and Nissan, we did a lot this morning of pit boost and practice starts just for them to get some data, as well as for the team to practice that procedure, as they only really do it in the races, which is you want to be a bit more prepared than that. So yeah, we did quite a lot of pit boost stuff, but that's almost the most basic stuff. When you're actually out on track, there's a lot to manage in the systems. You got to manage when you're in the braking zone, what the steering wheel and what the car is telling you, and how much you are into the systems, how much you're not. And the beauty of this car is GPS. So, my GB3 that I'm normally racing, you have your brake bias, and that's about it. And you change it maybe once in a lap if you're feeling ambitious. But yeah, I mean, around here, it does it all for you. You can preset it per corner, how the brake feels in each corner from the peak to the bleed off, and it's really fun because every driver will have it set completely differently, which I think is quite exciting. And if you're having a little niggle in a certain corner and you can't quite get it right, you can actually make them changes with the engineer and say, actually, if I had a bit more of this, I think I could do it better. So, I mean, not always, for sure. We've still got to make sure our inputs are good, but it's really exciting, I think.
I think probably everyone in this room and everyone watching will know what you achieved with F1 Academy. This year you've been stepped up to an F3 level, doing GB3. You've achieved a podium and some great results there. I know you're looking to continue that next year, hopefully. When it comes to looking at a future beyond that, how seriously are you looking into the possibility of a full-time Formula E seat? It must be something that's very attractive to you. For sure. I mean, it's something that, like you say, is really attractive, and I'd like to one day be a driver in this series for sure. I mean, it's a world championship. It's the pinnacle at the end of the day, and I mean, with Nissan, we've not discussed that far ahead yet. But the reason why we're working together is to get to the point where I can garner some and gather some experience and keep getting better to open up that potential. If I'm able to perform, obviously that's a bit of pressure on me, but they're giving me lots of support, and yeah, hopefully that can keep progressing in the future with them. But at the moment, I'm purely just the simulator and a rookie driver, and yeah, just constantly learning. As you say this morning, practicing a lot on the technique for the racer, and although it's the laborious stuff and it's the one that doesn't make you look pretty on the timesheets, it's the stuff that is really actually important at the end of the day to make sure you can be regenerating enough whilst being able to push, be on the limit, and kind of keep that momentum. And I can't tell you how strange it is. It's like nothing else I've ever done before, but it's really insightful. And when you get it right, it feels really satisfying. Look, it's a challenge that you seem to be taking in your stride, like most things. So good luck with that. Thank you very much for your time there, Ella. Good to see you back after last year in Madrid. What's been the most exciting thing about being back in the Gen 3 Evo Formula E car?
Yeah, it's been amazing to be back. Obviously, third time in the car, this time with a different team. So this morning I've had to adapt quite a lot to what I've been used to. But yeah, it's been a pretty good morning session. Just adapting, really. Changed the car a little bit to help me adapt. But hopefully we can change that back this afternoon. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this morning's gone and the progress we've made. The more you drive this car, as Jamie and Abby have sort of suggested, the more you learn about
how you want that car to be? Have you been at the stage where you're now giving the feedback that Abby's just talked about there, where you want to change certain things for certain corners?
Yeah, definitely this morning we changed something just to help me. I think just because I was used to something so different, being, jumping in this car. And obviously if that's what the team thinks is fast, then we'll go back to it once I've adapted. So just really looking to improve my driving, this morning has gone pretty well. So hopefully we can just carry that on then this afternoon.
Obviously testing alongside Alice Powell, who's been putting in some good times as well. And we know that she's been around single-seaters for a little bit longer than yourself. What kind of advice have you been given by Alice, and maybe what kind of tips are you sharing with each other?
Yeah, I don't listen to her.
Well, it's pretty difficult, to be honest, to give tips to each other when we're in and out of the car so many different times. But I think it's just, we've just been looking at over the data with, the engineer and just seeing where I can improve, really. I think I just try a little bit too hard sometimes. That's my issue. It's not a bad one, but, I just need to bring it back a little bit to find more time. But, yeah, no, it's been going good.
And in terms of your future, how far ahead have you been thinking? I know that you're not quite done with F1 Academy yet. Is Formula E an option for you?
Yeah, I don't know what my future holds. It just kind of comes year by year. Obviously, I'm in F1 Academy at the minute. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity that I could look into the future. But, nothing's set in stone yet, and I don't know where I'll end up.
Well, look, best of luck for this afternoon's second session. Marta, welcome to Valencia. It seems a bit weird for me to say that because you know this track pretty well, right?
Yeah, a lot. It's my home track, actually, so yeah.
Good memories here?
Yeah, I remember here, last time we were here, we did Formula One Academy, and we did the pole, we won the race, so yeah, good memories from here.
How differently do you have to drive this Gen 3 Evo Formula E car to the F1 Academy car that you would have driven here? Because, I mean, we've kind of had a bit of an insight into it, but it's a hugely different undertaking to what is a familiar track for you.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's a familiar track, as you said, there is a lot of different things. It's a complex car. It's very technique, and you need to start to understand everything again. I did some tests already with Formula E. I did Berlin, and I was also last year in the women's test. But again, with a new team, it's always been a different team. So now I'm with Lola Yamaha, and it's also to get to know the team. The difference, how they run the car. As they were saying also, in terms of driving is how if the systems are coming, how to use the energy and so on. Like everything is quite complex. You need to understand, adapt, and so on. So yeah, just trying my best now in the tests. We're trying a lot of items as well for the team for the first race in Brazil, and try to help them as much as possible to get to the first race as ready as possible.
As someone else who's won the F1 Academy as the inaugural champion, how important do you think opportunities like this women's test are for giving the next step once you've achieved something at one level to move on to?
I think it's great that we have these opportunities, not just because you're doing a test, like a day of testing, which I think is the least important in that case. I think it's mainly about connecting with the teams. Like, for example, Abby is with Nissan, right? Jamie is also with Jaguar. Like, I think it's a lot of opportunities long-term that you can have with the team, which I think that's the best, because we need to develop, we need to prepare in the sim, we need to meet the team, talk to the engineers, and get more info as possible from the Formula E, because we said it's a complex car and very different. So I think this kind of testing is great for us to connect with the teams. And obviously, we are all competitive. We want to be topping the sheets, but also we need to test stuff.
As Spaniard, you must be happy to see Pepe Marti come in as a Spanish driver, but also for Formula E to race in Madrid next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Obviously, I know Pepe from a long time, and I think he's a really good driver. So super happy that he's got the seat in Cupra Kiro. And yeah, the fact that we're racing, Formula E is racing in Madrid, it's also great. I'm sure I will try to go there as well. Hopefully working with Lola also there. So yeah, I think it's great also for the Spanish fans to engage more with Formula E, because as we know, Formula One is always there on top, but I think it would be nice for people to see more and get more interested in the Formula E, because it's quite interesting, the races and so on.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Lindsay, welcome to Valencia. How's your first experience been in this car? We've seen you drive all kinds of things. This is a completely different beast, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a completely different car from anything I've ever driven, but it's incredible. It's such a fun car to drive. The team's been amazing. This morning hasn't gone quite as well as I've wanted to. Like Jamie said, in Abbey, it's been quite a physical car, probably the heaviest car I've ever driven, so I'm struggling a bit with that, but I'm looking forward to the afternoon to being able to put a good lap together.
Having done that first session and having a bit of time, I know you've just come straight out of the car, but having a bit of time after this to go through the data and maybe see what you can achieve, what is it that you're hoping to end the day having achieved in the next 3 hours of running?
Honestly, when I went into today, I knew most of the women here had driven the car once, twice, even 3 times. So I knew I was going in just wanting to learn and enjoy the process and enjoy this opportunity as much as I can. I'm just so grateful to be here. And I think if I can go away at the end of the day just improving my times, improving my sectors, and just enjoying the experience, I think that's what I'm hoping for. But I'm very competitive still. I do want to drastically improve the lap time for sure.
Hey, then that's the aim. That's the ultimate
Yeah.
aim. Formula E obviously has raced in the US for a long time now. We're back in Miami at the early next year. What's the kind of perception of Formula E that you have over in the US?
Honestly, I think, yeah, Formula E, it could be bigger, but it has grown quite a lot in the past couple of years. I think it's great that they're going to the Formula One circuit, the Hard Rock Stadium. I think that's going to help a lot as well. But yeah, I think Formula One has grown so much in the sport in America, and I think that's kind of pushing over into other motorsports as well, like IndyCar and Formula E. And yeah, I think American fans are loving it, and events like these are creating more awareness as well, so it's great. Yeah.
I know Jeff and Alberto are very keen to look at new locations for races. I mean, obviously, there's plenty of opportunities in the US. Where would you like to see Formula E go to next?
I would love to see them in my home state at Laguna Seca. That would be incredible to see them race there.
Okay, put in a good word with Jeff, and maybe we can make that happen. Lindsay, thank you very much.
Oh yeah, maybe not with this steering, but the power steering in the Gen 4, right?
Yeah, so Gen 4, yeah, that's fine.
Maybe that would be nice.
We can maybe make it happen if you put a bit of pressure on Jeff.
This car's just insane, though. It's so much fun to drive, and it's crazy because we were talking about it's actually lighter in the high-speed corners, but yet in the low-speed corners it's super heavy, which is quite opposite of like a high downforce car. But it's really fun still.
Lots to learn.
Lots to learn.
Absolutely. Right, we have some time for some questions. If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand, and you may ask a question, and Eddie will translate it. Please tell me someone's got a question. Nick will have a question.
Go on, thank you. Nick Golding from Racing News 365. Question to all of you. Obviously, you've all experienced in so many different cars, categories, single-seaters and whatnot. Is there any similarities to anything else you've driven to this Formula E car? That's a question 21.
I think, hello? No, I think always there's it's a race car at the end of the day, and I think that's why you see drivers that are competitive and other things come into Formula E and they're equally competitive. I think the differences are more pronounced than sort of transitioning from single-seaters to prototypes to maybe even sports cars. So, yeah, I think there's definitely similarities, and the process is the same to go fast, but equally there's a lot of differences that I think become the focus and the sort of conversation topic. But equally, I think if you can drive something quick, then you'll be able to adapt, which is what we see a lot of the time with the drivers.
What she said.
Same.
Yeah, same and same. Perfect. Anyone else got a question before I ask one final question? Obviously, the women's test is something that's happened now for the second year. This is a question to everybody. Do you feel, or what do you feel is the next step that Formula E could take for what's next? What a destination? Could it be like what we've seen with the F1 Academy, an actual all-female series, or would you rather something different, a support series? I know Jamie will probably have an interesting take on this, but it's open to everybody.
No, I think all opportunity is good opportunity, but I think the misconception perhaps with Formula E is maybe the level or I think the level is as high as one of the highest in the world of all forms of motorsport. So to take any driver and put them in Formula E from any sort of phase of motorsport is a challenge. So naturally the feeder series for Formula E ends up being F2, hypercar, even F1 to a degree. So then you kind of look backwards as to how you get more women to that point, and then potentially there could be a feeder series for Formula E, and I think that could be quite cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, what the work that me and Jamie do with our respective teams, obviously me with Nissan, being more involved behind the scenes, I think is really valuable. And of course, tests like this help build them relationships and potential relationships going forward with everyone else. And for me, that's how it formed with Nissan, and I've learned so much working with them. It's a big operation, and I think that's one of the first steps for sure, is the teams coming on board and having one of us, female, integrated more into their teams. And then, yeah, I mean, potentially a feeder series in the future. I mean, as Jamie said, there's not really a specific feeder series for Formula E. Everyone comes from all different walks in motorsport, whether it's GTs, hypercar, Formula 1 even, F2, F3. There's lots of different ways people come into it. So a feeder series, I think, would make sense, but I don't think you should necessarily single out the feeder series to just being female as well. I think it should be, you know, all to enter, and I think that would be quite an exciting kind of avenue to take.
Perfect. Any other thoughts? We okay?
I agree with them too. I think it's good.
I mean, I agree. I think just events like this in general are amazing for women in the sports. But I agree. I think having a feeder series would be great if it's men and women. You know, I think just creating that opportunity at a younger age to be able to go through into Formula E, because the competition is crazy. I think it's just as hard as IndyCar and Formula One. So yeah, I think what they said.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any final questions? Oh, we have one question. This is going to be technically quite difficult. You may have to come to me.
Hi, Jack Pickering, Formula E Zone. Obviously, you're all very competitive people, and you'll be looking at the time. I know Jamie said that you were looking at the times earlier and everything, but do you, at the end of the day, do you want to be top of the times today, or is it more about like learning about how this car works because it's so different compared to a petrol power car?
I think we all want to be at the top
we'll-
of the, we all want to be at the top of the time. Like right now I'm nowhere. I am still super competitive and I want to be at the top, but at the end of the day we are going to learn and enjoy the experience as well.
I do think, though, I would say, having done a few of these tests, you do have to set your ego aside, because there's so many variables in Formula E. And yeah, I think it's very easy to get wrapped up in a lap time and be like, oh, I wish I was here, I wish I was there. And even I think the best I've ever done in a Formula E test was the first ever one I ever did. And you look at the names that I was up against and I was like, wow, I was quicker than them, wow. And then you realise actually it's a bit of a false sense of reality, because like I say, there's a lot of variables. So it's nice if everything was like for like and we all went out and did a qualifying session maybe, but in this instance, I don't look too much.
Yeah, exactly what Jamie said. I think we're all the teams have different priorities on what they're testing and want to achieve. And I mean, obviously, as drivers, we want to be fast. But as I always say, we're here for the teams, and we're all testing our own individual things. If you set us out for 15 minutes and we're like, just do the fastest time you can do, then and we're all on even pegging, then yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, for this, we're all, I think, just doing our own individual plans, and where we end up is where we end up. But obviously, it would be nice if it's at the top.
Of course.
Yeah, same for me. I think being also with a team like Lola is the second season. I mean, we're trying a lot of things, so it's difficult, to look at the lap times as a driver. Then you go out of the car, you look at the lap time, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm like P10 or P whatever. So it's not easy in that way, but of course you need to understand that you're trying the stuff for the team, new items. Some of them is better, faster or not. But I mean, for me, is the most important thing is about the team trying to give feedback and to try the items and see if it's better for them. And that's the main thing.
Awesome. All good. Perfect. Thank you very much for your question, Jack. Thank you very much. And
Well, the time's up, and from one miracle to another, we can now say hello. Live trackside with Jack Pickering. Hello, Pico. We were just saying before we came back, you had to save that press conference because all the drivers were being too nice with each other and just agreeing with comments and not being any controversy. So just tell us that story about grabbing the mic.
Yeah, so as you were just seeing in that press conference that happened earlier today, no one really had any questions for the women drivers who are out on the track behind me. So Jono thrust the microphone in Nick Golding's hand, and because Nick always asks a question in press conferences, that's just what he does. And then, because there was still no one else, Jono did a question, and I thought, right, okay, I'll just have to think of one. And I thought of one a little bit on the spot, which is the one that you've just heard from. Thankfully, all of them did kind of answer it, which was brilliant, and it did save the time. But yeah, I thought I'd grab Jono's mic because he was sitting literally about half a meter in front of me, not realizing that the cable his microphone was cabled, and so instead I just had one that was brought over to me.
The wireless one. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what have you witnessed?
You didn't hold it by the transmitter, though, did you, Jack?
No, you learned.
Yes, yeah.
So, Alice Powell's got back on the circuit. She's gone fourth fastest, 1:23.657, ahead of Ella Lloyd, her teammate, by literally about a fraction of a second. But what's the general vibe been this afternoon, then, as you've been patrolling around the media areas?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. I think everyone's kind of done. It's the end of a long week, and everyone just wants to get back home, and then and for the cars they're heading straight off to Sao Paulo after this session. So yeah, so yeah, hopefully. Well, I think we've all learned a hard rest, especially you guys back in comms in the UK. You've done a stellar job this week.
So have you.
Thank you for. Well, the thing is, I come in for like little 10-minute, 15-minute, occasionally the odd 45 half hour, something like that. Whereas you guys, you've been leading the show for 6 hours every day. I get to go off and have little breaks, whereas you guys. Very much are running it unless you throw to a press conference.
We've literally, I think, boys, exhausted every single form of conversation on the planet. I don't know what we would do now. I think we've covered every topic.
Yeah. I genuinely think so. I mean, we even waffled about Doctor Who for a bit and everything. So yeah, everything was like we had. There is so much time in testing, and not enough to talk about. And this is something that we have tried this year. We from Formula Reason, we haven't done testing before. We saw a gap in the market. There is no live broadcasting of this, but there is on JB Motorsport, and thankfully they've been brilliant. And to partner with us at Formula Reason, it's just been an absolute joy to do. I mean, and over the course of the year, we will have the watch-alongs a bit like last year as well. But yeah, to be doing this where there is nowhere else you can watch live testing. Well, you can't even watch it apart from occasionally a little bit that happens behind me when I've done little bits to camera. But yeah, I mean, it's been such a joy doing this week.
It's been a joy having you here. It's been a joy commentating on it as well. I will admit, I'm not looking forward to the Cup race on Sunday when I have TV pictures in front of me because I think I'll be very overwhelmed. I mean, I'm looking at a timing screen for so long as well. I don't think I've read so many numbers in my life over the past 5 days as well. Full action on this. So give us a bold prediction for the year then. Who's going to surprise us? You can't give us the champion or race winners, but who's going to surprise us?
Who's going to? Do you know what? I was very impressed by Pepe Marti. He is a complete rookie. He's the only complete rookie on the grid. Joel Eriksson has done a handful of races for Dragon and did a couple of races for Envision a couple of years ago, standing in for Seb Buemi. And Felipe Drugovich obviously made his race debut earlier in the year for Mahindra. So he's the only true rookie of the 3 full season rookies. He put it, and he was not that far off of Dan whatsoever. I think he was maybe 1 or 2 positions behind him on the overall combined times. It will take a while for him to learn Formula E, and the thing is, sure, you can set a fast time, but the racecraft is so different compared to anything else that is the thing that he will be learning over the course of this season. If he can string together a handful of top 10s, I think that's a brilliant year for him. He's in a car that's got a 3-year-old powertrain now, and so yeah, it's going to be a difficult season for him and Cooper Kiro. But we saw last year, we all thought they'd fall off the pace. They didn't. They were still in there by the end of it. Dan Tickton won a race in Jakarta, and the last person to get a pole in Formula E was Dan in the Cooper Kiro. So genuinely keep an eye on Pepe Marti, because I think he might surprise us all.
I really hope so. That'll be a nice run. The only driver out there on the circuit with a minute to go is Tatiana Calderon, so she might come past you shortly. She's at turn 6 at the moment. You can just see her actually going around there behind you. There she is, just dipping over the back, coming through. But right, one more then. What's been some of the storylines of this test? What have you been able to deduce from being out there?
I think one of the main things, and I think we need to remember this, is that this time last year, this place was broken.
Yeah.
They had such devastating floods that we couldn't come here. MotoGP couldn't come here for the season finale, and kudos to Formula E. They did an amazing job moving it to Madrid so last minute. But it's just the joy of being back here. Formula E has been based here since 2019, and this is Formula E's home now. And so, yeah, it's such a genuine joy just to be back in Valencia, where, and it's only right that we have pre-season testing here. Yes, I know it used to be at Donington, so it would have been so easy to have everyone on site for that.
Yeah, would have been nice.
Yeah, for FE testing. Alas, alas, they moved to Valencia, and this is the place that I have felt most at home with Formula E. I've been doing this since 2021, and last year in Madrid, whenever you turned on the telly, there was a news program, and you were seeing all these places that I've been to in the last few years in Valencia that were underwater, and so it's just such a joy to be kind of back here, and everything is kind of as it was. It's fantastic.
The checker flag is out, my friend. The session is over. All cars back into the pit lane. Chambers tops it from Pulling, Bustamante, Powell, Lloyd, Chadwick, Calderon, Marty, Noda, Garcia, Jakova, Edgar, Schurl and Brewer out on the order. Okay, before we let Pico go, JT, your final thoughts from testing, please.
Yeah, it's been an incredible week. It's been a very, very busy week behind the scenes. And, well, I was going to say that the editing machine can have a bit of a break, but we've still got the all of the stuff to go. And hopefully, if his mic works, the pit walk, which will be coming out later on.
Okay, Omi, what about you?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, go on, Pico.
No, sorry. I did listen to that. I just got distracted by someone walking down the entrance to the pit lane. But go on, Omi.
Omi, your final one?
Well, it's been a great week. It's been very exciting, and I think it's left us well poised for the new season of Formula E. So, looking forward to it. And yes, I did make my way out of bed, so I could say goodbye like you guys asked. So there we go.
Pico, final thoughts from you, please.
I mean, what a week. Like I said, it's just so great to be back here, and it's so brilliant. The thing, I know that I used to do quite a few races. I don't anymore. It's usually just London, but I always make room for this week, because this week I love it. Formula E is so hectic and convoluted with their schedule that you never really get time to enjoy the time in the place that you go to. And so, yeah, it's honestly been absolutely fantastic being back. and it's great to see everyone here. And yeah, I genuinely love this series with my entire heart, and it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, look at the times: 9,000 separating the top four, 6/10 separating everyone but Joel Eriksson, and I'm sure Joel Eriksson will get there this season. He's a damn good racing driver, so we're gonna have to see. What happens there. But yeah, roll on Sao Paulo. It's going to be a fantastic season of Formula E.
Thank you, Pico. My thanks as well to JT, Omi, and to Jack Giamano as well, and to everybody who joined in on the FE bar and in the Formula E Zone and JB Motorsports YouTube chats. Thank you so much for your lovely comments and your wonderful donations as well. They really do mean everything. So, there we have it. The test is complete from the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. We'll be back in Sao Paulo, a month's break in November before December reaches on for the start of Season 12. Myself and Pico will be there in the commentary box, ready to go. All concluded and all wrapped up then. Next stop, round 1 of Season 12. Take care. Goodbye.